exceeds the norm. Good sportsmanship, fairness, and integrity. You know them, you love them, and they're ready to win for you. Make the right call with John Higgins Weather Guard. It's tip-off time with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Make the right call!
John and Josh here for the FanDuel Sportsbook, who is putting the ball in your court for the rest of the NBA season. Because right now at FanDuel, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 if your bet wins. And on the NBA, there are so many different options. There's quick bets, there's live same-game parlays, there's player props, and a whole lot more. Visit FanDuel.com/1620. Make that first bet, Josh, a layup.
Or, John, a slam dunk. Put those great props together. And again, new customers, you can get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Just go to that website, FanDuel.com/1620. FanDuel.com/1620. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Crossover is
crossover dribble.
Sing for the crossover.
Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane. One of the most famous crossovers of all time. Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul.
Crossover.
The crossover continues to evolve.
Crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. All right, guys, I got a hot question for you.
Question for you.
Right out of the gate. I was talking to BC, and he's going up to Minneapolis for the Big Ten tournament. And I used to do this a lot with Brian Christopherson when he and Brunsey would get on their road trips for football games, various football Big Ten destinations. And we'd go over like the snack checklist. I brought up one that I think is moved up in my power rankings, and I don't know if you guys are high on this, indifferent, or think it's garbage. This could be a very bad snack food take. Bugles, and they have a Hidden Valley Ranch flavor bugle that is, to me, now moved up into my top 5.
I'll go ahead and clear out for Josh here, the preeminent snack man here at 1620 The Zone. He's tried everything, and he will continue on his quest to try everything. Josh Odson, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead.
It's a good intro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. ISO play. Bugles, underrated. I don't get them all the time. I like them when I do get them. I've not had the Hidden Valley Ranch ones, but I have seen them.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
I discovered them in December when the wife and I made a little weekend trip to Weston, Missouri. And as I was coming back, we went
trip to Weston, Missouri.
Weston, Missouri.
What'd you do that for?
It's a cool little town.
What?
Yeah.
Whole question.
Yeah. I'm on.
It's fine.
What is there to do in Weston, Missouri?
They've got a really
like wine or something.
They do have. Yeah, there's some vineyards around the area, but they actually do have this cool cave like bar.
Okay, I'm glad you added something. Literally anything to the end of that.
They've got a cave, guys.
Cool cave.
And in December, it's really cool to go to said cave. Now, it's I think it was an old coal mine.
Why don't you just go to Kansas City at that point?
Well, that's how we discovered this place. We were on our way to Kansas City, and we stopped there because it had been recommended to us. So we stopped there and had lunch and spent a couple hours there, and then we just continued to move on to Kansas City. Well, then we decided, we need to come back for a weekend. And they got a lot of cool bed and breakfast. I've never done the traditional bed and breakfast before. And this place was, it had a little bit of everything. And it was during the holidays too. So you've got, the fun little town shops and stuff. But yeah, the place, O'Malley's Pub, you walk in, you've got like a restaurant up top, and then you go into what is, I think they said it's like 60 feet below. Like the earth.
You like a good cave?
It's a good cave, and they had like a good Irish folk band playing and some good beer. It is a brewery. Nice. O'Malley's is also a brewery as well.
Looks like a little slice of Americana in Weston, Missouri.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's a good if you want to take the missus for like even just a quick little getaway.
Okay.
It's a good place to go.
Okay, so anyway, on that
Yeah, so they were coming back, stopped at the gas station. I saw Bugles. I'm like, man, I haven't had Bugles for a while. And I saw their Hidden Valley Ranch. Like, whoa, this could be really bad or this could be really good. And I don't even think they lasted like 10 minutes.
Okay.
They were done.
I'll have an answer to this question too, but I have a second question based on that.
On Weston, Missouri, or
not on Weston,
the Bugles?
on the road trip down that direction. But first of all, I mostly stick to seeds.
Okay.
Because I don't like having stuff on my fingers when I drive.
That's fair.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, if I see a good bag of chips that's really just calling me out, one of those the chili Doritos.
You love the sweet and spicy chili
the
Doritos.
purple bag Doritos.
Oh,
yeah, I'll wreck those.
Really?
Yeah.
They're okay, but they're not something that I'm immediately going to go to.
He houses them.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely crushes. That's a good combo with a Diet Coke. So yeah, I'll usually stick to, and then kind of whatever kind of seeds are out there for the day. But yeah, we're talking about like 2+ hour road trips.
Yeah. This isn't like going to Lincoln.
The trip to Minneapolis is super like
we're driving to Bellevue. Get your snacks.
yeah.
Got to get some water.
That's a good trip. Anyway, rank your most popular gas station stops on I-29 from Omaha to Kansas City. Which are you stopping at the most? Which do you appreciate the most?
Rockport, number 1.
Yep, Rockport is number 1.
Rockport or Mound City? Are you a Mound City guy?
I'm more of a Rockport guy because I could go to McDonald's there, but I can also gas up and not commit to it. And if I want a sandwich while I'm at that gas station, I can have a Subway.
Them adding that nice big Casey's at Rockport was kind of a game changer because before they had that small little like 3-pump Sinclair.
Yep.
Sitting right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now they got a big Casey's across the street. Okay, I agree.
Platte City also a decent stop, especially
Platte City on the way back.
Yes, on the way back if you just want to get out of town, but you do want to stop somewhere and get something to eat.
You go to a Royals game.
All your fast food stuff right
You
there.
go to a Royals game on a Sunday. Everybody leaves the ballpark at about 4:30, and everybody that is driven up for the day that's come from Omaha, they will all be there. It will just be 87% Nebraska license plates at the Platte City QT. At about 5 o'clock on Sundays in the summer. So check that out.
Yeah, you feel like even though you're in a different state, you feel like you're amongst friends.
Yeah,
it's a very good point.
Steve says he used the Speedies in St. Joe.
See, I was just going to ask St. Joe. I've never stopped in St. Joe
the big
on my
truck
way.
Stop off of the east side. So you're going north back to Omaha. The big truck stop. It's like a Love's, I think.
Yes,
I stopped there from time to time. Because you're a little further down the line, obviously. If you want to get gas, you could make it back and still have some gas for the week.
Okay, see, that's a decent strategy. I've always, and I probably should do that more often. If I'm doing the one tank of gas, and you've got like we both have kind of like a crossover. We're not driving like a diesel or anything.
Compact
this
SUV.
is the crossover.
But
nice.
See. But if you want to avoid the gas trip on the way back, that's probably a decent move to gas up in St. Joe before you get into Kansas City, and then you're avoiding it on the way.
And then if you're going back from Kansas City, but your destination is Lincoln, then the obvious stop is the Highway 2.
Oh yeah,
right there off that was flooded a couple years ago, and that whole deal.
I think
whatever that is.
We had to make
a Sap Bros? I think
yes,
it's
it is Sap Brothers, and we had to make a bus. We had to change drivers on one of the baseball road trips, and that's where we got our bus driver. He was waiting at that location.
Nice. Now, should we call Gary and find out the weirdo places he would stop and
he would
routes he would take?
He would be going like 25 miles east, and then would find some type of country road, and then you'd get on a different highway, and then
he's like, I could take a highway through Bellevue and down through Auburn and all the way down into Nebraska City.
Then you run into a random dairy chef somewhere.
Right. Yeah, that's what Gary's up to. Now I don't have as much on the trip north up 29 that Gary will be returning from today.
Yes.
Haven't made that drive much. Don't go that direction a whole lot.
I've done it a few times, but I couldn't tell you where I stopped. I think they're all different places. Nothing stood out of like, oh yeah, that's the place to go.
The amount of times, so going east on any, Big Ten type of road trip, if you're not going to Minnesota, so if you're going to Wisconsin or Iowa or whatever, east of that, which is everything.
World's largest truck stop.
World's largest truck stop is a must for me. I got to do it every time.
Yeah.
But usually I'll need one before that. Like need one kind of straight away.
Yeah.
So I think there's another big truck stop Loves, like before you even get to Des Moines, that'll happen. As much as I hate it, as much as I don't want to stop like 2 hours into the road trip, it feels like it's necessary because of the lack of stops along I-80 doesn't have much going on through Iowa.
We always
really
stop.
Not too many big truck stops.
We stop at the Jordan Creek exit.
I love a big truck stop
because it has. If you want to maybe kill some time, I don't know why you would. I would want to get to the destination ASAP, but they've got the Jordan Creek Mall. But they do have, if you go a little bit further down the road and you pass the Giordano's, you got your Pancheros, and we always have to have a Pancheros.
Yeah, and then I steal their sauces.
You still have Panchero sauces?
All the time. Well, only when I'm coming back from Dubuque in August.
Annually.
There was a rumor at one point that we were going to get we had a Pancheros a while back.
We had several, and then they disappeared.
Yep, they didn't do well here, which is shocking.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
surprised
Pancheros
by
are
that
great.
too. I like it too.
Is it because that was the Chipotle Qdoba craze and they were just overtaking the city?
I'll say this: I do not prefer Pancheros to Qdoba. I like Qdoba more.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I just have a more appreciation of Pancheros because it's not readily available here.
Maybe
it's not typically how it is.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good. But
Absence
if it was
makes the heart grow fonder.
If it was here and I could get it anytime I wanted to in Omaha, maybe I wouldn't appreciate it as much. It's like Yingling beer. I finally had a case of it.
Yep.
And I think I got through like 12 cans. I'm like, you know what? I'm over it.
So going through, obviously everybody's done this. You go through the entire state of Iowa on whatever trip that you're making, including if you're going to lovely Dubuque, Iowa, which I would recommend to everybody.
Oh, it is great.
But it's always
great
me
casino there.
It's always me and a couple of my friends, and we got the golf clubs in the back because we do this golf trip there every year.
Oh, that's where you guys golf at?
Yes, in Dubuque.
Oh, okay.
It's
so you do know Diamond Joe's very well.
I sure do. I sure do. I'm a rewards member.
By the way, folks, Diamond Joe's is a casino. It's not a strip club. I know it sounds like that.
Okay.
Yeah, Diamond Joe, J-O.
Diamond Joe, yeah.
Diamond Joe.
Diamond Joe's does sound like a
Diamond Joe's kind of does.
Yeah, it absolutely does, guys.
Yeah.
So I always pretend like it's some sort of a shortcut where when you go through Des Moines, 80 takes you up north of the city, right? But I always go through the downtown area.
Okay.
So you split off and it's like 180 or 480 or whatever it is.
Which I've still never understood why. But
it's not any faster. It's the exact same thing. Right. But I always think it's faster.
No, my wife is convinced that route is faster, and it's not. We did that little challenge once, and I think maybe seconds difference.
It's literally nothing.
And I don't know. Maybe we weren't even going the proper speed limit.
And you have a better chance of like getting popped for a speed limit deal through the downtown area.
Yes, absolutely.
But you get to see the sights.
That is true. It's a part of downtown Des Moines you don't get to see every day.
They got a nice Capitol building.
Mm-hmm. Looks like it should be on the South Bend Notre Dame campus.
Yeah, it does. The Golden Dome.
It's very gold. It's very beautiful.
Brian asks, how often do you have to stop on road trips? We are on the road quite a bit, and we rarely stop more often than every 4 hours. Yeah, I mean, we're all men here, so we appreciate making good time.
Yeah, if I'm doing a guy's road trip, stopping is minimal. In fact, I have a buddy that we won't even have to stop at a gas station. We'll just pull over to the side, and he'll take a piss if he has to.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't see that much anymore.
No, and he grew up in a small town. And so I think he hunts a lot. So I think he's just used to doing that. I'm like, that's fine. But with my wife and or kid, it's going to happen a lot. Yeah, it's out of my control. As much as I want to get there as fast as possible.
Oh, Nick, you got to tell your wife and kid what's up. I'd be stopping all day.
I always tell my kids, I always tell her to warn me, like, hey, give me like a 45-minute buffer for when you start to feel this sensation coming.
Because I don't want to be in the no zone where we can't stop anymore.
And then I'll have her officially give me like the red light warning, like it's time.
Yeah.
And it's at that point I say, all right, like we have a 30-minute window here.
Yeah.
Like I will stop at some point in the next 30 minutes. That's the best I can do for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm the driver here.
I don't make the exits. And I can't control when you need to go and where we are on the road. So this was it. Josh, you might have experienced this too. So we did our first road trip with Reese. He was just over 1. We were in Chicago for Thanksgiving and we were coming back. We realized like during that time we were in Chicago, he didn't crap a lot. And we're just like, all right, whatever,
Okay,
I mean, travel
There's a
constipation gets
That
the best of
happens.
us.
That happens.
Oh my gosh. So it takes us about 7 hours to get
Uh-oh.
back, typically from Chicago to where my brother-in-law lives. He's just kind of in Skokie now over by Northwestern. It takes about 7 hours on a good trip. I'm not kidding you. We stopped 6 times because he had to crap. And they were legit. And when you're in the car, it's unavoidable because it smells. And you're just like, okay. And then we literally go to a gas station or a truck. I think we ended up having to go to a truck stop or a rest stop at one point too. It was within 15 minutes of his previous one that he did another one. We're like, good Lord, man. We were pacing at probably a 12-hour trip. And then finally he got his, what together. He kept it locked up. But then we realized, okay, so he was just saving it for the road trip. That was the worst.
Chicago is a low-key miserable drive.
It is. Especially on the way back.
It feels like you're there. It feels like you should be there when you get to the state of Illinois and you're like, all right, nice.
All right.
We can really change our brains here.
And now I got another 3 hours of this.
Yeah, you get another 3. It's the same deal too. No, I do not like that drive.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a bit easier to just
if I can fly,
buck up and take the flight at that point.
And usually the
30-minute
flight
up
is
and
going to be
down.
good. Yeah. I mean, by the time you reach your cruising altitude, you're all of a sudden descending.
We're going down.
Yeah. And usually that flight is very affordable.
Let's see. Here's Matt.
I'm out.
On the Eckerl Bank inbox.
Yo, Matt.
Subject line: the heater from Van Meter.
Yes, Van Meter is another good stop.
Good place to stop at the
Yep.
Bob Feller Museum in
Yep.
Van Meter on I-80.
I've made in fact, Shafe and I were driving out to Chicago for a buddy's wedding once. And I remember this was, guys, okay, I have to
come on.
ask for your forgiveness of my immaturity in advance. So this was an app in 2013 and I think it was on Facebook, where you could, if you were somewhere and you wanted to let people know that you, again, did a number 2, it would say bombs away. And it's so it said Connor just dropped a bomb. And I remember we were in the Van Meter truck stop.
It was
gas station.
It was a hot spot.
Yep, and Nick Hanley dropped a bomb in Van Meter. and for some reason I decided to have fun with the app. And so all, people that were tuned into my happenings knew that I dropped it because it says bombs away. And it says,
wow.
yeah,
What?
so I dropped a bomb in Van Meter.
Would you like to tell us the name of this
the
this
gas
app?
station? The app? I don't even remember. I don't even remember. I just thought it was funny.
It's kind of interesting.
Kid could not even tell you what it was now.
Kind of a dude thing.
But yeah, it would just you would just see something randomly pop up, one of your buddies, and say bombs away. Josh just visited so and you knew that's what he did there.
Interesting.
Because it would just say bombs away.
Never heard
Do I
of
have to
this
follow someone
I
to
can't
get this information, or does
think
it just tell me everybody in the area who is pooped?
no, you have to follow someone. I think you have to be
Okay.
on the app as well.
Okay.
Oh, it's one of those you have to get a code.
Yeah,
the Blue Sky thing.
Yeah, like, hey, Connor, do you want to follow my road trip and what I do on that road trip? Well, here you go. Follow away. Yeah, it was stupid. I thought it was really funny at the time.
Yeah, definitely funny.
Now I look back, I'm like, what the hell was I doing? But I remember Van Meter because it said bombs away. Nick
were
was at Van
living.
Meter. Yeah, I know. Well, I was taking life by the horns then. Things have just kind of slowed down since.
Yeah. I got to worry about.
I don't let people
kids'
know about that.
poops
Yeah. I
Instead.
could have the kid one. That'd be a lot, though.
Yep. All right. Well, we got more baseball on the radio
More
tonight.
baseball tonight. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There's going to be some pitching changes tonight, too.
Yeah. Should we set a number?
Yeah. What if I say 8?
This is total.
Yeah, total. You taking hard over?
8 different pitchers or 8 changes.
Let's
just go
8 different pitchers.
Let's just go different pitchers.
Yeah, 8 different pitchers.
I would take the over.
I think I'm hitting the over.
I think Creighton will probably rip out 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And the Mavs will probably
That's
be good for a few.
Omaha put up a 22 spot the other night in their first win.
20, right? 20,
Yeah,
20 to nothing.
In a 7-inning
Finally got
affair.
the bats going.
They did. They did.
It all came out in one game.
And we know Creighton has no shortage of that, no matter who's in the lineup.
It's going to be a lovely night. We invite you to join us at the ballpark this
be-
evening.
There could be a lot of offense.
Wave to us in the big window.
Yeah. Did you see also no wind? It's
Yeah.
71 and
It's super nice outside
6 mile an
right now.
hour wind. This is amazing.
Yeah. But this weekend doesn't look so.
Just looks cold. It looks dry.
San Francisco will be right at home. It'll be like they're.
Oh, actually, yeah, it looks better than I thought it was. Sunday looks miserable. Maybe they'll play 2 on Saturday.
What do they got
again.
on? What does Sunday look like?
Sunday says 42 and wind.
Oh,
that's not what you
for Selection Sunday. No,
that's not what you want.
I don't like that.
But we rebound quickly.
It'll be good to watch Nebraska in the Big Ten championship game in that kind of way. Boom! Take
Nice.
that. Take that.
And Creighton on Saturday.
It's true.
If I have to miss
sweep,
if I have to miss Creighton playing in the Big East championship on Saturday because there's a double header between Creighton and San Francisco, I might be a little triggered.
I was hoping we were going to be running home from the game tonight and watching the Mavs in the Summit League championship game.
No,
that's a bummer, man.
I know.
Thought they're going to do it too. Once they took that 7-point lead in the second half, I'm like, all right, this is more like it.
Yeah, I think they just kind of ran out of gas.
Yeah,
everybody
make a bucket.
Everybody was tired. They didn't. Last 5 minutes of the game, they didn't do anything.
Gary's description of during the broadcast of Frankie Fiddler's jersey sounded like very similar to what you'd see at a rink mast. Sounded like it was soaked with sweat.
See, he's a sweaty guy.
Well, I just his might have been more of the 24-hour fatigue.
Does Creighton have any sweaty guys that we can put up in this competition? Because I don't think anybody's touching the 1 seed rink mask.
No, rink is, and then it comes with the Wolverine claw marks too.
Kalkbrenner's always pretty scratched up.
Yeah, you're right.
But he's not.
I don't think he sweats as much.
He's not
though.
a sweaty guy. He's an exhausted-looking guy.
He is. Yeah, he has that face.
He'll wear that a little bit.
Who would? I don't know if anybody comes off as a major sweater.
I don't think Creighton has a representative in that category.
So we think it's running
Frankie
the state
versus Rink.
Yeah, Frankie and Rink.
I love how Creighton and Nebraska fans are like just like kind of peering in at UNO basketball, and they're like, could you imagine this guy in a whatever uniform next year? Yeah, that'll be an interesting conversation. He's always projected that he'd like to stay.
Yeah, it'd be the all-time scoring leader in the history of the program.
Yeah.
Which why wouldn't you want to be?
So I don't know.
And from what I understand, he gets a little scratch NIL wise here,
of course,
in Omaha, the bull market. So it's not all bad. But again, could he stand to do better? Sure. Do you need to? Do you want to? That's a Frankie question.
Yeah, I wonder. That's a big decision for him. I wonder if it would be those two battling.
Yeah, I mean,
services.
we're assuming it'd be Nebraska. Well, maybe it wouldn't be. It's somewhere else. I don't know.
Man, that would be.
It'd be cool though.
So this is like
if Nebraska somehow got Chucky, and then Frankie's like, hey,
he would go to Nebraska.
Yeah, I'll go hang out with my buddy Chucky Hepburn.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people are starting to imagine things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chucky's 45 years old, though.
No, he's not, Josh. He's a young 27.
He had a COVID year. Oh, yeah.
He has an AARP card.
It's amazing how
it does seem like he's been there for a decade.
All Wisconsin dudes turn into that after
I know. It's like
period of
it's
time.
like once you get to Madison, like
you just
it becomes dog years.
You get really, really old.
Yeah.
It ages you. It's like the presidency.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, he's so
for every year, it's like 7 years of your life.
Unlike the president, like he still looks the same as he did 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But
just doesn't have the same type of balance.
They always have those dudes who are like, wow, he's been there for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Yep.
If Kalkbrenner comes back, they're going to be saying that about him.
Oh, yeah.
When he's on the road.
Yep. They will be.
He's going to be
same
like
thing with Trey, but I don't think Trey's.
They're going to say, cut Kalkbrenner in half and count the rings of that tree man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got it.
Good one, Josh. Good one.
Ag joke.
I like how they used
the Aaron Kraft.
So I don't know how many times the Big East has done this, but when he won the Defensive Player of the Year again for the third consecutive year, the Big East Twitter account they referred to him as Big Kalk.
Big Kalk.
Big Kalk.
You really got to hit that L.
Yeah.
You really do.
And
then we started getting like Nick Foles territory.
Do they know what they're doing, or do they not know? Like, do they just?
I feel like they do, but then they're going to play ignorant if you're ever asked.
They put
They'll
up.
be naive.
There was a graphic earlier in the year.
What you're thinking?
Where they did him, like his tail of the tape, whatever, up against another big guy, and I can't remember who it was in the conference. Maybe it was Klingon or something like that. And they had his nickname, and then for Kalkbrenner, they wrote in the nickname category, "Big Fella." And I thought,
big fella,
you just did everything you possibly could to not write Big Kalk.
Big Kalk
on that.
Well, you see, he's a glue guy. We call him Big Kalk.
He does not have a nickname that we've been able to attach to him. We just call him the big man, the big fella.
Glue guy.
Big Ryan.
Yeah. Why can't you just call him Rye Guy?
I'd have to work on that.
Yeah. Because it does, especially even if you're like eating something and you're trying to say it, like that L kind of becomes tough to emphasize. And then it's a whole other thing.
You got to slow down.
You really do. This is where you really have to enunciate. And who has time for that?
He's the
Big Kalk.
Yep. He's the dude. That's your.
To answer your question, I think they knew what they were doing. I think they're just like, hey,
maybe
for those of you who can pronounce it correctly, and for those of you who can't, that's your problem.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, throw it out there. Yeah. That's what it says. It says Kalk.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy your afternoon.
I'll see you at the yard later.
We will see you at the yard later. See you at the Chuck. See you. Right, Josh?
Yep.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
That's the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. It's Tuesday. Big show. Many guests. We'll tell you about them next on 1620 The Zone.
That's the crossover. The Connor Happer Show is next on 1620 The Zone. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Roughly 11,000 players in college football, so they're getting $600 a piece. If you do the math, that's $6.6 million that they're paying out in NIL deals. No one has negotiated this $6.6 million figure on behalf of any player. This was a number that they set.
Yeah, and I'd be very interested to know how they came to that number, right?
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
It's a mild start to the day with temperatures in the upper 40s. Winds stay calm throughout the day, clouds filling in, and we warm up to a temperature near 70 degrees. And enjoy that weather we have today, because tomorrow during the late evening hours, we have some storm chances. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery, KETV Newswatch 7.
Lindley Clothing in Omaha has been the premier provider of men's fashion for over 88 years, from suits to jeans, with great brands like Jack Victor, Bugatti, Peter Millar. Your father was a customer. You're a customer. Your son is a customer, and now they're looking for the latest sportswear to tailored clothing. Lindley Clothing has you covered. They will help you get the look that you need with their selection and top-notch customer service. You walk in the door, and there's John and Marlene and the entire Lindley Clothing team with a great smile on their face, and they're to help you. 132nd and West Dodge in Linden Market to pick up the latest styles and enjoy easy access shopping. Hey, baseball fans, ready to catch all the action this season? Tickets for Less is your ultimate ticket destination for the best seats at the best prices. As an authorized marketplace of MLB tickets, Tickets for Less offers transparent, upfront pricing and no added service fees at checkout. So shop Royals, Chasers, and more at ticketsforless.com or visit their Omaha office at 145th and West Center Road, or call now at 402-398-1999. With Tickets for Less, you'll always get the best customer service, and you can save even more now when you use my promo code THEZONE at checkout today.
It's Mulch Better at Lanahaw. Planning to wake up your tired yard for spring? Make your landscape the envy of the neighborhood with mulch from Lanahaw's Garden Center, where quality is always a priority. Convenient pickup or delivery available. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Get more with Murphy Tractor. Each of our 29 locations offers new, used, and rental John Deere construction equipment, an extensive parts inventory, as well as other complimentary products. We also have a full team of Capstone certified technicians with field service capabilities. Let Murphy Tractor be your first choice for your construction equipment needs. Visit us online at murphytractor.com.
If you're unhappy with your job or employer and you've hit a dead end, it's time to start your new career as a delivery driver with Host Coffee. Our local family-owned business is growing, and we now have openings for delivery drivers and other positions starting at $22 an hour with full benefits. If you're interested, visit hostcoffee.net/careers to connect with us.
Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Velocity Clinical Research in Omaha frequently conducts clinical trials for a broad range of investigational treatments. Typical studies involve medications for high cholesterol, diabetes, infectious diseases, and others. They also perform vaccine studies for people of all ages, conducting innovative research that has a positive impact on lives. Click for current trials at velocityclinicaltrials.com. More trials are launching in March. Compensation for study-related time and travel. Find out more at velocityclinicaltrials.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It's the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you as we await conference championship weekend in college basketball, which is a great sport.
Some say the best sport.
Some say the best sport. Definitely at this period of time, that's for sure. We love it. Today, we will dive into something that Sam McEwen mentioned yesterday that I thought a little bit about last night involving Creighton basketball and what they can do to continue to raise their profile going into the NCAA tournament. I was taking a look up and down John's favorite website, Bart Torvik, last night.
Inferior analytical website.
It's a great, hey, there's great tools on there. Great tools. I have been a KenPom guy, but I looked around and I thought, man, there's just some good stuff on here. I like the historical comparisons that they use. Bart does a pretty good job.
You've changed, man.
Maybe you should tweet at Bart and say, you down to come on the show?
I would never.
You would not.
I book guests.
So welcome in. We'll talk a little bit about that today. The changing NFL free agency market and the ever-changing Justin Fields market, which has evaporated all in the span of 24 hours.
Yeah, what happened?
All before free agency even opens tomorrow in the NFL. Once again, Josh, the legal tampering period where everyone just decides where they're going to go. So that has been happening. We'll dive into an amazing run of trades and moves from the NFL's preeminent franchise, the Carolina Panthers.
They're wheeling and dealing.
Coaching,
like they always are.
Coaching rumors yesterday that culminated in a tweet from Porter Moser. What a world we live in.
Terrible name.
Porter Moser, not a good name. That's
name.
a Creighton guy you're talking about.
Makes
terrible. Sense. Whoa, makes sense. Mm-hmm. Josh, what do you have against Porter Moser?
Nothing. Sounds like he loves wine and cheese.
He took the Ramblers to the Sweet 16. I think. Final Four.
This has nothing to do with his talent level.
Okay.
Just name alone.
All right. Elsewhere on the show today, we have twice the amount of guests as we would normally have. here on a Tuesday. Allan Bell will still join. He will join at the top of the hour. We'll ask him when Tennessee basketball is going to choke. Hopefully, it should be soon. Knowing Tennessee, there should be just a clock on it.
He'll know exactly when.
Yep.
Won't even be offended or like, oh, what are you guys talking about? No, he'll know.
Some college baseball stuff with him and various NFL topics as that is going around right now. Jacob Bigelow, as always, at 1 o'clock to talk about the Huskers and their path to potentially a championship this weekend in lovely Minneapolis. Great town, by the way. Love Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I like going to Minneapolis for sporting events.
People told us we were wrong about that take, but I think the audience is wrong on this one.
I make the Minnesota trip, when Nebraska will now significantly less play Minnesota in football. But I make that one a priority. Every couple of years it pops up in the schedule. Is like, doesn't this just sound nice? Minneapolis in the fall, it's a big city, easy transportation. You stay out by the Mall of America, take a couple laps around, go into any one of the 8 lids inside the Mall of America, maybe ride a roller coaster, hop on the log ride, go to Bubba Gump Shrimp, and then hop on the train and head downtown and go to the Gophers game.
Try a couple of hot sauces at the hot sauce store.
Yeah, get some beers and get some cheese curds, and you got a trip to Minnesota. I always like that trip. So hopefully people enjoy that exact same thing. Mall of America will be painted red this weekend.
Indulge my wife and go to IKEA.
Oh, I've never been to that IKEA. I'm kind of scared of it. It seems a little daunting to me.
They're all the same.
Are they? Are we getting one? Is Gretna getting an IKEA?
Look.
Big Lake, IKEA, hockey team.
Here's
what's
the
real?
thing you need to understand about that guy. He says a lot of things and makes a lot of promises, and sometimes he delivers on them. Okay? Yeah, I said it.
Okay.
What?
I'm just saying. I'm just laughing at you.
Come at me.
Also, today on the show, we will catch up with the star of the Big Ten women's basketball tournament. That's right.
The
star. Oh, you might be thinking, wow, Caitlin Clark's coming on the show. No,
we said
the star of the Big Ten women's basketball tournament. Jaz Shelley will join the show in a little under an hour. And I get the chance to talk Royals with my good friend, young Jake Eisenberg.
That's right, buddy.
Live from Surprise at 12:30 this afternoon.
I want to know what he does while he's down there. I'm not implying that he's not working. But
They broadcast the games every day, unlike some television networks.
Interesting.
But
like, what's a day in the life?
Young Jake has had a very interesting last few months here. He got married and then had a very long, extravagant honeymoon, and then went directly to Phoenix. I swear to God, he was in Kansas City for like 2 days, and then just went. So we'll catch up with Jake. It'll be good at 12:30 today. That's the lineup powered by the Referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Want to hear from you guys? 402-951-1620 on the 42 degrees The Source hotline. You can also text that number 402-951-1620. Twitter at Happer Show at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Send us your stuff from there, like Joel does. Another example of a thing you could do at the Mall of America: buy a kilt at the kilt store.
Who says brick and mortar's dead?
Exactly. You see how many? I always mention this when I talk about Mall of America. I always watch that show where they followed around the security officers at the Mall of America. One of the most interesting shows ever. I loved that show. I don't think it's on the air anymore, but I really loved that show. Think about it. It's a giant mall. It's so cool. You could be in there and be miles away from somebody. There's roller coasters in the middle of it.
It's true.
It's incredible stuff.
There's a 5K path.
Yes. Yeah. They mark it off for you. It's fantastic. Yeah. You could go to any one of the Minnesota like sports stores and get your Minnesota sports memorabilia. You will not be able to buy a Kirk Cousins jersey anymore.
Get yourself an American Girl doll.
You might, yeah, that's a good one. You might be able to buy a Sam Darnold jersey coming up soon. I was going to text Schaefer and say, hey, Schaefer, I need some comments on potentially your quarterback being Sam Darnold next year. But I didn't. So here we are. But He definitely has thoughts. Real Schaefer definitely has thoughts. I was just hoping to translate that into AI Schaefer. Anyway, you can email into the Equitable Bank inbox, Connor, Josh O at 1620thezone.com and the Equitable Bank inbox there. I'll get to an email here from Adam here in just a second. You can watch along with us on YouTube, 1620 The Zone TV, or conveniently located on our website, 1620thezone.com. Just one single click away. There's a big box on there. It says 1620 The Zone TV. Click, bang. We're there. We're in your ears. We're on your big screen TV. We're everywhere. Turn us up on the sound bar in your living room.
Oh, yeah.
Make some people mad. Just like me when I get mad at the dog outside of my backyard neighbor for just all this dog does, Josh, is just go outside and it just sits there, stares into space, and barks loudly for several minutes at a time. And guess what the owner does?
Nothing.
Correct. Absolutely nothing.
It's a bad dog owner.
You would think that the owner would say, wow, this is not only annoying to me, but this is probably annoying to the people who live around me, that this dog just sits outside and barks for several minutes and I don't do anything about it. Nope. Sometimes the other neighbor lets his dog out and then the dogs bark at each other for several minutes at a time.
That'll help. Let's let another dog into this situation.
Neither of the owners do anything. Not going to add to that problem, Josh. Nope. Won't see me having the dog outside just sitting there. And it's not like they're not small dogs. They're not yapping. They're barking. They're woofing. Yeah, those guys. Anyway, so
Connor hates
thanks for being
dogs. No, Connor likes peace and quiet.
Don't we all?
He's paying for that house.
Yeah.
You should get some peace and quiet.
Yeah. Now that it's nice outside, like we don't have the ambient noise of the furnace going on and the air conditioning going on. So it's just nothing. The sweet sound of nothing.
Embrace the silence, because apparently this is like the perfect storm of cicadas coming this summer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are we on cicada warning?
There's a batch of cicadas that only come out every 17 years and a batch of cicadas that only come out every 13 years. And for the first time in like 250 years, they're both in the same year.
Are you kidding me?
This summer, yeah. So it's going to be very loud this summer is what I'm saying.
Whoa. That sucks.
Yeah. Sounds horrible. Sounds like a hellscape.
At least they're kind of consistent, though, unlike the dogs who just bark.
Yeah.
Random.
I can tune out a
intervals
dull
of
roar.
time.
Yeah.
Doc writes in on the text line.
What's up, Doc?
Dog owners like that are the reason why people don't like dogs. Maybe they are. Brian says it's less annoying for the dog owner to have them bark outside instead of inside.
Oh, I get it.
You think are they barking all the time inside the house?
I would assume so.
Really?
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. If that's the case for them, well, let's make this everybody else's problem instead of exclusively mine. Interesting. It's your dog. Anyway.
He chose this life.
Back to the Equitable Bank inbox. Adam has email about Creighton. He says, I found it interesting last night that Jerry Palm said that North Carolina, Tennessee, Iowa State, Creighton, and Arizona were all still playing for the final 1 seed.
Oh, hello.
I suppose the argument can be made that if Creighton wins the Big East tournament, that would most likely involve back-to-back wins over Marquette and UConn. It's not super far-fetched that the committee does take into account conference tournaments. This is something that I've dove into over the last few hours here, going back to last night. And we'll talk about this a little bit later in the show today because I don't know. It's obviously not likely that Creighton gets a 1 seed in the. Once again, we got to calibrate ourselves here. We're talking about the Creighton Blue Jays as a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I am telling you there's a chance, and that doesn't guarantee them a 2 either. But if they get the right confluence of things to happen for them this week, it involves some other teams as well. Creighton has just as good of a resume as anybody else. And I think the thing that they have going for them right now is they are playing like one of the best teams in the country, right? They haven't, it's a similar thing to Nebraska where, Creighton over the last month has just been outstanding outside of one blip on the radar in the loss to St. John's. So I think they have that going for them, and they have as many good wins as everybody else does in the country. They played one of the tougher schedules, like their non-con strength of schedule pans out. Obviously, this would probably involve beating UConn for the second time this year, once on a neutral court, which would do you a lot in terms of metrics. So, and I don't think it hurts that the Big East championship game, if Creighton were to get there, is on the Saturday and not on Selection Sunday. Give them a little time to marinate and think about that as well. So we'll discuss it a little further in depth. Our buddy Bart helped us out with that a little bit later on in the show. But I'll say this right off the bat. It's not impossible. I am saying there's a chance that the Creighton men's basketball team could get a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. What kind of world is this?
That's kind of insane.
It's crazy to think about. It's insane to think about. All right. So that is the lineup, by the way, powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. We are off and running on a Tuesday. We'll kind of dive into some NFL free agency things as we come back for the other side here. Allan Bell will join us at the top of the hour, and Nebraska women's basketball, Jaz Shelley, will join us at the bottom of the 11 o'clock hour. More to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's cold outside, and you don't want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink Nebraska-brewed beer, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag OneBeerFriday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click nebraska.beer to learn more.
To thank you for 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is Kops. Receive 2 $25 gift vouchers for just $25. Kops makes delicious pizza, fresh salads, and tasty charred wings. For the basic menu, click CopsPizza.com. And for the extended menu, visit them at Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, and the newly reopened 72nd and Jones locations.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
Howdy, Greg Wagner joining you from the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission. Time now for another Nebraska Outdoor Update. Say there's a lot to do this season in Nebraska's outdoors. There's always hiking in the state parks. There's bird watching. There's trout stream fishing action. There's scouting for that spring wild turkey hunting trip. And there's looking for shed deer antlers in your favorite woods. So there's no reason to be a couch potato, is there? No. Get outdoors and enjoy. Well, it's time to get all your new permits and stamps for hunting, fishing, fur harvesting, and state parks. Time to check your motorboat registration for renewal. Time to make those cabin and camping reservations in the state parks if you haven't done that already. And time to go over all of your outdoor gear for spring and summer. Get more information on Nebraska's outdoor scene by going to the Game and Parks website, outdoornebraska.gov. And that'll wrap it up. I'm Greg Wagner with Nebraska Game and Parks.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Yesterday, should have got Nick's take on this, but the market for Justin Fields basically evaporated in the span of just a few hours yesterday, right? What were all the talks with Justin Fields? He's probably going to go to the Falcons. That seems like a pretty good landing
Trade
spot
him to
for
the
him.
Falcons. The Falcons will give you everything.
Yeah, good pieces around him. Right. Maybe they can get a first, or maybe they can get a second. Okay. No, they go out and sign Kirk Cousins to, a big contract. Kirk, incredibly good at getting the bag.
Yeah.
In his career. He continues to do so.
He may be a bust on the field, but he's a legend at the bank.
All right, who else is out there? Well, you have the Steelers. They need a quarterback. They benched their quarterback last year. That's a pretty decent team. They went out and decided to sign Russell Wilson, much to their own fan base's chagrin. Once again, I'm not as low on that deal as maybe some Steelers fans are. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Obviously, you could have done better. But I don't think that would work out horribly for them. And then so you start to kind of look around and you think, all right, what are some of the other places that need quarterbacks? The Raiders popped up yesterday for a little while. And then what did the Raiders go do? They signed Gardner Minshew yesterday.
Oh, yeah, they did.
They signed Gardner Minshew yesterday. So they kind of passed on Justin Fields. That was one that kind of popped up. And then obviously the team without a quarterback now that has some decent pieces would be the Vikings. And it seems to be that they are kind of hot and heavy with Sam Darnold at this moment in time. I don't know what's going on there.
That's ridiculous.
Once again, would love to get Schaefer's take on it. I'm sure you'll be able to find it on Twitter at some point in the next 24 hours when that deal inevitably happens.
Now they have the 11th pick.
The Vikings.
Yeah.
They have been a rumored team who is interested in young JJ McCarthy, who seems to be almost a lock top 15 pick at this point.
Don't do that.
Something happened that, once the NFL people started to see him, they were like, yeah, okay, I think I kind of like this guy. I would invite them to go back and watch all of his games from college where he did some good things, but nothing that'll blow you off the page. Anyway, on the Fields market, that all happened yesterday. Everybody's passed, and it feels as if the Bears, knowing that, the Bears have now maybe overshot what they thought they were going to get back for Justin Fields, to the point where I think they're struggling to get later round picks for him, and the appropriate landing spot for him may be to be someone's backup next year.
Life comes at you fast.
Life comes at you fast. Now, they weren't going to get a first round pick for Fields. They probably weren't going to get a second round pick for Fields. But it's amazing that all these other spots kind of filled up, and now it feels like he is maybe going to be a backup somewhere. The Bears really overshot here, and it doesn't seem like anybody is budging. That market evaporated in about 3 hours yesterday. So just another piece of pain and sadness for the Chicago Bears. Keeping an eye on free agency and what's going on there. And then elsewhere, we had the Panthers, who continued to kind of dismantle and do their thing yesterday, trading away Brian Burns to the New York Giants. The Giants are going to pay him a lot of money, and they're going to do that thing. I saw this tweet going around yesterday from Scott Barrett, who kind of gives us a rundown of the last couple years of moves for the Carolina Panthers. Here he says, by popular request, combining the Brian Burns, Bryce Young, and Christian McCaffrey trades, the Panthers let go of the following assets. The 2024 first-round pick that ended up being the number one pick, a.k.a. Caleb Williams, which we've never been more sure than ever that it's going to be Caleb Williams. at this point, given the market for Fields. And I mean, I suppose they could trade down, but maybe he's a backup in Chicago. Fields is the backup in Chicago next year. Anyway, Caleb Williams or what ended up being the number one pick in this coming draft. Of course, Christian McCaffrey, all-pro Christian McCaffrey, scorer of touchdowns, Christian McCaffrey.
In the Super Bowl.
Magically uninjured as a member of the San Francisco 49ers, Christian McCaffrey. DJ Moore, very productive wide receiver, even for a crap team in the Bears this year with, an average quarterback at best. Another 2020, the 2023 first from last year, a 2023 second, another 2024 first, and then a 2025 first. They gave up all of those assets to basically end up with the following. A year rental to be able to sign Brian Burns, who is, I think they viewed as like a franchise player, but they have got rid of. Bryce Young, who Scott Barrett, the guy who did this tweet, mentions he is only 5'10". It just says Bryce Young, 5'10". I want to talk about quarterbacks here in a second and how we talk about them. But outside linebacker DJ Johnson, who was the Pro Football Focus's 125th highest rated edge rusher this year, and 2 5th-round picks. That's what they got back. It's kind of a mess for the Carolina Panthers. Doesn't seem like they know what they're doing or know how to trade anybody. And before we jump on the Panthers for like drafting Bryce Young and him turning out to not be that good or whatever the book is on him at this point, I think I'll just say this. I feel like this is the right time to do it, especially when we look at guys like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud from last year. Especially when we look at those guys from last year. Sorry, I just got a funny text. I think what matters maybe more than how talented the player is or how good the player is the position that he is put in and the people that are put around him. And the general question of, does your franchise have a grasp on reality or understand what it is doing whatsoever? And so I think it just sucks for Bryce Young that he got put in a position like that last year with nobody around him. A franchise that doesn't understand what they were doing is going to have a coaching change, coordinator changes. Like the whole first portion of his career is going to be totally whacked out. And it was the same thing with Fields for his first couple of years in Chicago, and obviously he hasn't been able to get back on the right path quite yet. But when you start creating those kind of good habits and you put him in a situation where there's some pieces around him and there's some people who understand what they're doing, then you could see. I'm not saying that CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are the same or whatever. I always like Stroud more anyway, but I do think the situations that they're put in makes a huge difference. Before we jump on Bryce Young for just being a straight up bust,
well, he's fine.
I just don't think that's completely fair. He got put in a crap organization.
Bryce Young, Mike Trout, handshake me.
Bust. So that was basically the day in NFL free agency yesterday. Well, I mean, there was a lot more than that, I suppose. There, the whole, I guess Saquon Barkley and Tiki Barber are fighting each other.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Tiki Barber said, okay, you go to the Eagles. That's fine. You're dead to us. And Saquon, for some reason, felt the need to respond to that.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And he was just like, like handshake me. See you later.
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay.
I guess I'm dead then.
They didn't want to give me the bag. I got the bag. Something like that,
Mm-hmm. Running backs moving. The Bengals are releasing Joe Mixon and
trading him to the Texans.
And now they're oh yeah, that's right. Now they're trading him.
Jameis Winston to the Browns.
Aaron Jones getting released. Josh Jacobs getting signed. And Packers fans were like, "Oh my God, we're gonna have Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs. This is gonna be sweet." And then they immediately released Aaron Jones.
Boys Town's own Shaq Barrett to the Dolphins.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on in the legal tampering period in the NFL. To the phones. Let's take a phone call from Random Mike in the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Hi, Mike. Mike? Didn't get to him fast enough, I guess. Man, I usually get to you guys really fast, but I just had to get that out real quick. That's all.
Weren't quite ready to have the show derailed.
I understand you guys are busy. All right, so we are moving forward then. We have some more stuff coming up throughout the show, including the Creighton 1 seed talk, and the rumors and how many people watch Nebraska Iowa women's basketball. Don't forget, Jaz Shelley will join the show in about a half hour. But coming up next, Allan Bell, the AB3. We will ask him a very important question: when will Tennessee basketball choke?
We know it's coming.
Yeah.
Can't fool us.
I think you'll have a good grasp on that. Coming up on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Warmer weather means even hotter savings during the 42-degree spring sale. Drop in for unbelievable savings on American Glass, Kratom, Premium Cannabis, Tyson Disposables, THC Edibles, Dr. Dabber Devices, and more. This is a limited-time sale that is sure to put a spring in your step. Don't miss the spring sale at 42 Degrees, your destination for top-tier cannabis, second-to-none product selection, and exceptional service. Buy your mom's house.
Looking for a sweet treat that will transport you back into time? Look no further than Ted and Wally's. With 2 convenient locations in Benson and the Old Market, it's the perfect place to satisfy your cravings. Whether you're downtown or in Benson, make sure to stop in. And if you're catching a basketball game, why not indulge in a delicious dessert afterwards? With over 3,000 flavors to choose from, there's something for everyone. Don't forget to check out our social media for daily flavors. Ted and Wally's, serving up nostalgia at its finest for over 35 years. Visit tedandwallys.com for more information.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor or the pharmacy or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great. But with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
To thank you for 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Here we go.
Allan Bell, the AB3, on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back. More of the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. We're joined now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline by our good friend, Allan Bell of the AB3. Allan, hello, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm fantastic, man. You doing all right?
Doing good. I want to get into some NFL free agency stuff, but the question we've been dying to ask you for the last 24 hours is this, because we thought you would have a really good, finger on the pulse here. When will Tennessee basketball choke? Is it in the tournament? Is it this weekend? When's it happening? Because it has to happen.
Yeah. So, all right. So this weekend with the SEC tournament, all right, understand they probably won't care. They'll probably win one game, and they could win it all, but I don't see that as the priority. The priority is going to be the tournament, and that's usually not good because it doesn't work out. So you definitely want to go tournament on that one. And obviously we don't have, matchup seeds, anything like that. But
they got a chance at a 1 seed.
Yeah, and I think that they will get it, which actually will make it so much worse when it happens. That's the problem, right? Okay, so they've got. I think that if they get a 1 seed, they have to make the Elite 8, right? If they don't get that far, it will be viewed negatively, which means that they'll lose in the round of 32. That's probably what's going to happen right there.
Are you interested in a trade? Maybe that Tennessee can falter or whatever it might be for this weekend in the SEC tournament, not have enough to get the 4th 1 seed there, and then maybe make room for a team that's surging at the right time and would love to say, hey, we got a 1 seed for the first time in program history. That's the Creighton Blue Jays, who have randomly outside chance to grab a 1 seed if a lot of things break right for them. They'll need Tennessee to kind of blow it.
Yeah, which can very much happen in any sport at any time. Let me say this. I wouldn't be surprised if some sort of NCAA investigation gets announced next week. Anything's on the table here. Yeah. Let's just say on Creighton. How should we feel as bettors, as bracket, folks? How are we feeling about them? Because our man Howie Schwab has been all over him. He loves them, right? And how do we feel about it?
I do too. I mean, obviously we're homers here, but I think they've played really well basically for the last month, and there's some stuff if you look at their schedule and if you look at their resume where it's wow, why did they get drilled by UNLV? Why did they lose to Colorado State? What happened? And first of all, those games were in November and in December. So that was kind of a long time ago. They're a different team now. I wonder how they'll do at the Big East tournament this weekend, but whether they're a 1 or a 2 or a 3, I think they got a really good chance to, at the very least, be in the second weekend, which would be the expectation for a team seated that high.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I hope that wherever they get seated at is close enough for the fans. Because, dude, that's my favorite part is that place is a madhouse, dude.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I love it, man.
They're relatively, matchup proof, too. I wonder what we've been thinking about it all year. What's the profile of a team that could give them fits in the NCAA tournament? And knowing how they do this with the matchups in the NCAA tournament, it'll find them at some point. Yeah. So they'll have, but they've also been capable of grinding games out this year and winning close games. I don't know. They've just your guy and our mutual guy, Howie Schwab, is I think he's got the right call on this one. They've checked all the boxes.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, every time, on the show, he's bet them they're going to win outright. They're not underdogs very often, but he's been all over them, dude, and every single time. And I'll say this, on Tennessee, this kid Dalton Connect is crazy good.
Yep.
But if he doesn't score 37 points, this team could be in trouble. You notice, this dude's numbers are crazy, which is great for him. but not always good for the rest of the team, right? Like, I'm fascinated to see, because like you said, matchups, like one team that could just, like, you could run into like a Rick Pitino, and he's just like, I know how to lock this kid down. You're done, So.
Watching the SEC this year, just I've popped in at various times, seen a little bit of Tennessee and Kentucky and Alabama.
He'll score 7,000 points.
That's what I'm saying. Like
crazy.
It's the same thing with Alabama too, who's pretty good. And they came up here and played Creighton, way back in December. But like they don't play any defense in that league. It's very odd. Obviously, I mean they're really, really strong offensive teams, but I don't know. That's got tournament favor or tournament failure written all over it, just because there's a lot of them, and a lot of the strength of their league is super one-sided teams.
Oh, dude, you're not wrong at all. And Alabama's had a horrible last, pretty much month, man. Like this team just shoots threes. Like you're spot on with that. Like it's just firing threes. That's basically it's like the NBA light, except the bricks are heavy, and they're the ones that hit the back of the rim and fly off. And you're like, my God, Alabama, what is going on?
In that case of the violent bricks.
Yes, dude. Like I tell you, that's a T-shirt right there. Yeah, but you're spot on. There's not much defense.
Okay, we got to check in on college baseball a little bit as well before we get to some NFL stuff. What are we cooking up? Who's looking good? I mean, you're basically like our college baseball correspondent right now for where you're located and how locked in you are at the moment.
Yeah, man. So we're entering week 5 here, okay? And we've seen some teams that are ranked high to start the season. Wake Forest, Florida, that have been falling in the rankings. Texas is one of those teams too, although Texas got to turn it around this weekend, and they played a brutal schedule. Give them credit on that. But today is the best midweek scheduled day of the entire season. We have ranked games all over the place. Pay attention to Wake Forest and Coastal Carolina. Coastal Carolina, if anyone hasn't paid attention to them, bet them. I don't bet them today, but after today, like this team will put up 11, 12, 13 runs constantly, man. And then we're entering conference play this weekend across the country in full. And there's just ranked games all over the board, man. But yeah, like Florida today plays Florida State, and it's an absolute must freaking win for Florida. They have had a weird start to the year. So if you're looking for teams to bet, Florida, Vanderbilt, Wake Forest, even though it's going to be a tough game, those teams, they need to win. They need to win right now. So
I love some stakes in the midweek. That's a tough balance. Like you got to win these games because a lot of times they're against like your regional rivals.
Yes.
But also they're out of conference and they don't really mean a whole lot in the grand scheme of things.
Absolutely. Like Auburn, ranked team, right? Like they're playing Troy. They're in Alabama. Everyone at Troy, like these guys don't play high school against each other. They're like, oh, dude, we're at Troy. Like, let's go smash Auburn today. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
Totally right.
Yep. We got Creighton and Omaha tonight at the big ballpark downtown. So that'll be the blood is boiling in that rivalry. Not really. But
I love it. It is a big ballpark too. That ballpark is no joke, dude.
Hey, it's been flying a little bit over the last couple of years. I mean, Creighton all of a sudden found a power stroke. So I mean, I've done each of their 5 home games so far, and they're not afraid to hit it out of the yard a little bit. So maybe that's something to watch out for when the summer rolls around. Like ball's flying a little bit downtown now.
I love it, man. There we go. Look, that's the insight that we need right there.
I'm just give you a little primer for it.
Hey, we're just saying.
And that's preparation for when you're up here in June and we're talking baseball with you at the baseball village.
Yes.
All right. On to NFL free agency. So we were just talking about this. The market for Justin Fields pretty much evaporated in the span of like 3 seconds yesterday. What did you think was going to be like a return for a guy like that, especially for a team who's, I don't know if they're handcuffed in the Bears, but like they had the number 1 pick and there's a really good quarterback that's sitting there. They're going to take him. What did you think what the market was for him, what they were going to get back? And now ultimately what they're going to get back, I don't think is anywhere close to maybe what the Bears thought in the first place.
No, you know what? I don't think that there really was much of a market for him. Hence why he's there right now, right? Because, number one, like we're kind of blessed right now, and we have been the past couple of years that, the supply demand quarterback position in the NFL, like supply is up. You know what I mean? Like there's not many teams that need a quarterback, right? Like we've had, a good, crop of young guys, like the Mahomes era level guys in like a year or two below, right? Like him, Herbert, guys like that. So they're good enough. Like Mahomes is obviously not this conversation, but like, you've got, quarterbacks that are pretty good and they're young and teams really aren't looking, man. So yeah, like there's just not a lot of places, for a guy like Fields to go, and especially if you're looking to get something. The most interesting thing was last year how the 49ers got so much for Trey Lance. Like when it was known that, like they're like, we don't like this kid at all. And Dallas is like, we'll give you the house. You know what I mean? Like that, they did a great job.
Yeah, you're right. They're not going to get for a guy who's played a lot more. They're not. That might be a good one to look at because they're not even going to get as much as the Niners got for him.
No, and that's a backup. You know what I mean? So it's fascinating, man, for sure.
Yeah. So okay, you had Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons, and then the other spot was the Steelers. As a with a quarterback hole there, and they went out and they were like, yeah, I think Russell Wilson will do it. We talked about Russ last week. Those two are interesting spots for those guys because they have some pretty good pieces and or in the Steelers case, like, hey, we got some pieces and, we're the Steelers and we have a good head coach and a good culture and all this stuff. Like there's some winning spots there Kirk Cousins is obviously viewed a little bit higher than Russell Wilson. Like let's do Russ first. What do you think is the expectation for him? I know their fans have reacted not so positively to this, but I actually think, as we've been talking about over the last few weeks, there might be a little bit of upside still there.
Oh, let me say, I think there's a ton of upside there, and the reason I say that is that the Steelers basically got him for free.
Yeah,
right. Like it costs nothing. If it doesn't work out, and they want to cut him in training camp, cut him. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like it was a Steeler decision. Right? Like they just make moves like that. And you're like, dang, that was pretty smart. It doesn't work, doesn't hurt them at all. If you look at their offense, man, like with Kenny Pickett, it's like they weren't scoring any points. You know what I mean? So I think that, not only, for the Steelers was a good move, but for us, like, if you want to go somewhere where you can, blend in and be a part of the team, if you can, humble yourself a bit, which you will not last.
Right.
Under Mike Tomlin. Like that, you know what I mean? So I thought it was good all around. I'm with you. Now, does it work out? Who knows? But there's no risk there.
I enjoyed the memes yesterday of what the first meeting between Russell Wilson and Mike Tomlin might look like. Those are two guys who, just knowing what we know about them, might not understand each other at a real personal level. But I'm intrigued to see how that relationship develops.
Yes, you can see Tomlin right now, like Mr. Unlimited.
He comes in and he's like, you want to try the Danger Witch? And Mike Tomlin's like, all right, time to go. You're cut now.
You're cut. You're done. Kenny, where's Pickett?
Kirk Cousins to the Falcons is one that was talked about, for the last, couple weeks here. Seemed like a pretty good fit, and it ends up happening. And now all of a sudden, the Falcons definitely become the kind of team to beat, I guess, in that division, right?
Yeah, I think that it's a good move on both sides, right? Like for the Falcons, you got a new head coach. I guess we're done with Desmond Ritter. I guess we're finished with that experiment.
Yeah, that's okay. That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, probably so. Look, I don't hate it. If you're, an organization where you've got a young GM, you've got a brand new head coach, go get him a quarterback, man. Kirk Cousins is better than people give him credit for. Yes, there are issues, primetime games, intercept, whatever. But he's a lot better than a lot of other quarterbacks in the league. So I thought that was a good move.
Dude, yeah, he's up. Where do you put him? Because he's clearly better than the middle of the pack, but we still give him a hard time because he's somewhere in between that middle group and then obviously the kind of what we view as the elite tier. And that's not bad. That's not a horrible place to be. Especially if you can find some weapons that are pretty good around him, which the Falcons seem to have.
Dude, yeah. Look, I put him in if we're going A, B, C, D, right? F, whatever. He's in that B tier, right? Probably lower B tier. I mean, his numbers are great, through his career. I know that there are interceptions there, but that thing's, I mean, he's up there, right? And you can trust him, which sounds crazy, but you can, man. Like, he's a veteran. He's been there, good locker room guy. People like him. Like, you could do a whole hell of a lot worse than Kirk Cousins, man. And I think, he belongs right there in that solid tier. And also, think about this. Dude, being a starting NFL quarterback is the hardest job on the planet. Like, there are 32 of these people that exist, and really only about 18 of them. You know what I mean? And you can interchange the other ones. So the fact that he's, known and in that group, pretty solid, man.
All right, AB. Before we let you go, we always bring up like a food thing. So here's what I'm on right now. I have discovered, and maybe I'm just way late to the game here. It's probably the case, but I'm starting to see more and more of breakfast quesadillas. I really like breakfast quesadillas. So that's what I'm on right now. Just kind of from anywhere. It doesn't matter specifically where from, but like you throw a little, like it's almost better and certainly easier than like a breakfast burrito or a scramble or something like that. I'm super on the breakfast quesadilla right now.
Yeah, I am too. And I'll give you the perfect example. All right. So it's the upgrade of the omelet. That's what it is. It's an upgrade. So the omelet is Kirk Cousins, all right? And the breakfast quesadilla is Patrick Mahomes because it's perfect size-wise. You can eat it on the go. You can eat it at a restaurant. You can eat it at home. And you could go, Tex-Mex, Southwest.
Yeah.
Go like California with avocado. Like, it's all good, and it's grilled. Dude, spot freaking on. I completely agree.
I'm just, I don't know. I'm way late to the game probably, but that's where I'm at, my breakfast findings at the moment. AB, always good to chat, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey, appreciate it, buddy. Take care, man. Thanks.
Allan Bell driving the line. And check out Mr. Schwab. Howie Schwab, he's on the Jays.
Yeah.
Big time. All right, Josh.
Check them out.
I know what you're going to do. Go ahead. Hit it for me.
Is this good news or bad news, by the way?
Well, why don't we let you decide? It really softens the blow, kind of, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news in from the Big Ten Conference. They have announced their Coach of the Year. It is Fred Hoiberg. It is also Matt Painter.
Have a take, Big Ten.
Seriously, what the hell, dude? I didn't even know they could do that. Oh, you want to name a co-player of the year, too? A co-defensive player of the year? You want to put 14 people on your first team, all Big Ten team?
They do. They really do.
Of course they do. Of course this was going to happen, Josh. Why didn't I predict this several days ago?
So,
I feel like a total idiot.
How could I not have foreseen this would end up in a 7-7 tie? Or 3-3-1 tie or whatever.
Well, I feel dumb.
Yeah.
I feel dumb. This should have been predicted a long time ago on this show. Both very deserving. And both get what they earned, which is Coach of the Year in the Big Ten. Husker fans, tell me, how do you feel? Feel good about that? You feel gypped? You're one vote away from having a full Coach of the Year. Instead, you have a half Coach of the Year.
No one's ever going to call him co-Coach of the Year. Like, the writers who are covering this are obviously...
They're the people deciding this.
They're doing the co thing.
Now, I don't know who vote. I wonder if we can. I wonder if they put out a list, or we have to like individually identify the people who voted for this, so we can dox them.
No fan is going to say, "Well, Fred Hoiberg was co-Coach of the Year."
Brandon writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Brandon.
Yet another thing for Husker fans to be triggered about. No, he won Coach of the Year. You get to say he won Coach of the Year.
Yeah, take this in stride, Husker fans.
All right, coming up next, speaking of Nebraska basketball, not being triggered about it, Nebraska women's run through the Big Ten tournament in Minneapolis went all the way to overtime in the final against Iowa And their star, Jaz Shelley, will join us on the other side in the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But first, FanDuel's put the ball in your court for the rest of the NBA season. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 if your bet wins. There's plenty of options to bet on the NBA. Obviously, you pick a team, but you can pick several teams. Cook yourself up a nice little same game parlay, just a regular old parlay. FanDuel has plenty of great options for you on the quick bet menu, player props, huge in the NBA, and plenty more. Head to FanDuel.com/Happer right now and make your first bet a layup. That's with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over, present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley.
Screw that. You've got Shaka Smart. You've got a guy who gets out on the floor and plays defense on his own end, too. I mean, come on. No, that is a bunch of crap. That is absolutely a bunch of crap. That, first of all, when I think of that building at its best, it is never, ever crossed the mind of like, man, these students or this crowd is brutal. That's what makes it so tough. No, they just get loud. They get into it. 95% of it's positive. The other 5% is nothing different than what you're going to see at any other venue.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
It's a mild start to the day with temperatures in the upper 40s. Winds stay calm throughout the day, clouds filling in, and we warm up to a temperature near 70 degrees. And enjoy that weather we have today, because tomorrow during the late evening hours, we have some storm chances. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery. KETV Newswatch 7.
More with Connor and Josh after this.
We're going to have an extensive professional relationship, my man.
On 1620, The Zone.
Get more with Murphy Tractor. Each of our 29 locations offers new, used, and rental John Deere construction equipment, an extensive parts inventory, as well as other complimentary products. We also have a full team of Capstone certified technicians with field service capabilities. Let Murphy Tractor be your first choice for your construction equipment needs. Visit us online at murphytractor.com.
To thank you for 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors, and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Velocity Clinical Research in Omaha frequently conducts clinical trials for a broad range of investigational treatments. Typical studies involve medications for acne, allergies, chronic diseases, depression, and others. They also perform vaccine studies for people of all ages, conducting innovative research that has a positive impact on lives. Click for current trials at velocityclinicaltrials.com. More trials are launching in March. Compensation for study-related time and travel. Find out more at velocityclinicaltrials.com.
It hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, I never smoked a cigarette. How in the hell did I get lung cancer?
I don't smoke. I've never smoked. So I started Googling. One word just kept coming up, like it was in bold and red, and it was radon.
Radon is the number 2 cause of lung cancer.
Well, you don't know if it's in your home. You got to test. You can't see it. You can't taste it. You can't smell it.
What's your level? Radon Defense Midwest can help. Visit radonradio.com for a special offer. That's radonradio.com.
All right, welcome back for the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Odson with you. And we are now joined after a long weekend in Minneapolis by Nebraska women's basketball's Jaz Shelley. She joins us via the 42 Degrees Source hotline. Jaz, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good to talk to you. I think you're officially friend of the show now. Joining twice means you're friend of the show, so congratulations.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
All right. So let's talk about the weekend, or I guess maybe the last 48 hours or so since the game ended. Like, what are the range of emotions that you guys have gone through? I watched the press conference afterwards, and obviously it's a tough one to swallow. But then, after a day, have you come to kind of appreciate the run that you guys made in Minneapolis?
Yeah, I think even after that last game, that championship game that we lost, we were obviously really sad and really worked up about it, just because that was a game that we feel like we could have won. And that's kind of heartbreaking, but also at the same time, I think we realized in that moment actually what we had just done and how special this team really is. So I think there's a lot of positives that have come out of this weekend, and we're just already super excited to go to the NCAA tournament and just start playing again.
Yeah, I figured that'd be the kind of the takeaway. Like, how much did that either validate or motivate you guys to go wherever you're going to go for the NCAA tournament and feel like, hey, now we understand that we could do it in a tournament format like that, and we can play with basically anybody in the country.
Yeah, exactly how you put it. It's definitely a reassuring feeling. I think that everyone has come out of this really confident in that team and what we're capable of. And I think we can play that consistent every single game. And I think we have more fire in us right now because we lost that championship game knowing we could have won it. So I think everyone's pretty locked in and ready to move on right now.
One thing I always hear Coach Williams talk about is, and she always preaches it, I'm sure you're maybe sick and tired of hearing it by this point, but response. She always says the word response. I at the beginning of the season, just watching you guys, I mean, I don't know if you always had that, and it's kind of developed over this year, and now, I mean, it really feels like it's there. Like, what happened to be able to get that over time and get where you guys are at right now?
Yeah, I was literally just talking about this with one of my teammates. We were saying that throughout every single game that we've had this season, whether they come out of a win or a loss, we've learned something from it. I mean, against Michigan State, we almost blew a lead the first time we played them, and we learned to finish out quarters after that. We struggled against the Ohio State press, and now we want anyone to press us. I feel confident in that. I think that we've had these games where we're able to learn, and our team has done such a really, really good job of like taking things away from our experiences. And I think that everything just came together this weekend. And that response thing has been huge for us. Like, we had probably 18,000 people rooting against us the other day, and they would hit a huge shot, and then someone would come down and step up and hit another one to silence the crowd. I think that instead of hanging our heads, we did a really good job of just relying on each other, leaning in on each other, and just coming back with a response every single time.
It's like, as a viewer of it, I mean, you get down right away in overtime in that championship game, and then you're like, oh man, just kind of ran out of gas. And then boom, a 7-0 run and you're right there and got a chance to win it. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into that, but it feels like this your team's ability to kind of show up in the big moment, including yourself, has really come forth over the last few weeks of the season here.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is it's someone different every time. Like that fourth quarter, Logan Nisley going in and hitting that many threes. Like we needed an answer, and it wasn't coming from me at that point. It wasn't coming from Lex. It was we needed someone to step up, and it was Logan. And then it was me earlier on in the game, and then it was Lex in overtime. Like there was just you can just rely on people on this team because we just want to win so bad that we're able to come together and be like, we need you right now. And we think we have a really good relationship with that.
So yeah, you just mentioned one of them there, and Logan Nisley, who I know you've taken under your wing a little bit. But also, Natalie Potts and Jess Petrie, the freshmen that you guys have had this year, they have really, really developed throughout the year. Like, what was it like earlier in the season for them? Nat felt like maybe she was the first to really get comfortable, and then all of a sudden you could see it coming from Logan, and she's now a lethal shooter and a huge weapon. Like, what's the journey been like for them this year, and how have you seen them kind of come into their own?
Yeah, I would say our system's not always the easiest to understand and learn. That jump from high school to college, we have so many plays, we run so many different stuff. Like, it's really, really hard to, first of all, understand and be able to take on board a lot of the stuff that this team's trying to do. And I think with that, they were so quick at learning stuff and wanting to get better at stuff. And I think they had all three of them, the perfect attitude towards what this team needs, what they can do for this team. You don't always see that in freshmen. And I think that they came in with such an incredible attitude that I'm not surprised that all three of them were able to step up the way they are and play this many minutes and stuff. I think that it goes to show that the people that they are and how willing they are to help this team. So I'm not shocked at all. They're three incredible people. You
just mentioned, I mean, over the weekend you got 18,000 people, and they're all most of them are wearing yellow. Of course, the Nebraska contingent showed up and they're loud as they always do. But I mean, in general, the whole arena is against you. You guys have experienced that a couple times now this year in playing Iowa. Yep. Like, how was there an adjustment there to kind of deal with the bright lights of the whole thing? But especially in a tournament setting where you don't really have time to think about where you are or what you're doing. It's such a quick turnaround. Like, how have you dealt with kind of the lights getting brighter as the season has gone along here?
Yeah, I generally think our team has seen it all at this point, and it doesn't faze us. I think it goes to show the game we just played on Sunday, our composure, our ability to compete and fight, and whatever happened, we would never complain. We'd never think that stage is too big for us. We were all just locked in on each other, and we lent into each other more than we ever have, just because of the situation that we're in. We did that naturally. I don't think we kind of realized what environment we were in until after the fact, to look around and be like, wow, there was almost 19,000 people here today. But it didn't faze us, I think, because we were just so confident and we believed in each other. So I think it's pretty cool to be in an environment to have the bright light like that. I think we just found out that 4 million people or something watched that game. That's pretty cool for our program. That's pretty cool.
When does it go from being you look around whoa, this is happening, to you embrace it and it's fun? Because now you're going to get more of it with the NCAA tournament coming up, and you guys are prepared for it.
Yeah, I think it's fun just because I want to show off this team. We all want to show each other off. This is a really special team that we've got, and I think that we play the right way, and we love and care for each other and stuff. So I think we deserve this sort of recognition. I think we deserve the bright light. So it's pretty cool that we're able to get some of these opportunities right now.
What makes this group different from the other two since you've been here? Is whether it's from a basketball perspective or just a personality perspective, why do you think this group has kind of found a way to click at the right time?
I think the conversations we're able to have with each other is a pretty unique and special thing that you don't always come across in women's basketball. I think people can take certain conversations as personal or get offended by stuff, but we are just all so locked in on the same goal that it's if we're in a huddle and someone's not playing defense properly, be we need you to play defense right now. We have to keep someone in front. okay, I got you. Like, that's kind of the conversations we've had throughout our team where we literally just talk to each other like, you're like my little sister. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. We can say whatever, do whatever, because we know it's coming from a place of love. And I think that we have gone immense ways in that. And it's pretty special to have that sort of relationship. As well, I think we have people that step up, know their role, understand their role, want to play their role, and want to do absolutely everything they can for this team. And I think that goes all 12 deep. Like, Arnie Stewart didn't even play a single minute against Michigan State, and then comes in and was the game changer for us against Maryland. I think that we have some amazing people on that team that will do anything for this team.
Jazz, give us an idea of what it feels like or what it's like when you go into the type of zone that you were in the first few minutes against, or I mean, I guess the entire game against Maryland, or really the entire Big Ten. I mean, like everything you looked at going in, I think at one point you were just kind of like palms up, like, I don't, everything's going in at this point. Like, what does it feel like when you're in a zone like that?
Yeah, my teammates actually just spoke to me about this the other day. Like, they haven't really seen me as that. This whole weekend, I was pretty much like, do not talk to me, leave me alone. I'm so focused right now. Like, it was just pretty much like, stay away from me. I don't know. I think I just wanted this really bad for our team. And I think my mindset and my body just went to like a whole different level just because our whole team wants this really, really badly. And I knew that I needed to step up. And I think that I was able to go to a different level.
So, yeah, I mean, we've talked about your role before, and now your willingness to take on the, like, a little bit more of the scoring load this year. Like, has that stepped up now that we're into real tournament time, winning time, big time stuff at the end of the year? Obviously, you were able to do so in the Big Ten tournament, but like, have you had conversations with coach about like sort of specifically what your role is and what you need to give the team down the stretch here?
Yeah, I think my coaches have always told me that I need to shoot a little bit more, but for me, it's more like my aggressive mindset. I think that I'm able to assist the basketball, but I'm able to get my teammates more involved if I'm like looking to score myself. I think a lot of more stuff opens up for me that way. So I think my mindset's kind of shifted a little bit more towards like, I'm going to try and get into the paint every single time I can, every chance I get to either, if I get a score off that, great. And if I don't, then I think that other things will open up now that I've had a little more attention towards me, which I think has only helped our team. And it's also hopefully got other people to think more aggressive minded as well. And once we have like all 5 people on the floor thinking like, I want to score this, like it works really well for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a real grittiness, right? Like, I know that's definitely what Coach Williams wants from you guys, like to be the toughest team out there. But then you look around you at your teammates, that has really, I mean, I don't think same thing where you're in a zone. Like if Lex decides that she wants to score, I mean, she's going to get the ball and she's going to try and score it. Logan is, can really, really shoot when she gets into a rhythm. Like how, I mean, the sort of grittiness that you guys have had and the determination, I guess, over the last few weeks has been, pretty unbelievable to watch. Like, what have you seen from your teammates in that category?
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. It was crazy to be able to play Iowa the way we did. We had different people hit huge shots, make huge plays. I think towards earlier on in the season, we would make some, what my coach would call it, give up BS points.
Yeah.
Just points that were from our own doing. Like it was, we wouldn't know the scout properly, or we would do something that we given baseline we're not supposed to, that sort of thing. And I think that we've really learned so much from every single game, every single loss, everything, that our team knows exactly what we're supposed to be doing. We know exactly the scout. We know we're just locked in at this point. I think that just shows the grittiness that comes out because we're just playing to win.
What's your as a team expectations for yourselves when the NCAA tournament comes around?
Yeah, I think it goes to show we just played 4 straight games and we're all ready to fight and play some more, and that's going to be the NCAA tournament. We feel very conditioned. We feel ready for that, but we also have never believed in each other more than we do right now. So I think that we have all the recipe to make a successful run. So I think we're all just excited to lace the shoes back up and go back out again.
Awesome. Well, your team, you guys galvanized everybody this weekend watching you run through the Big Ten tournament. I hope that you've been able to, feel that a little bit over the last couple of days, because it was a sweet run. And we're looking forward to watching what you guys do in the NCAA tournament. Jazz, appreciate it as always. Thanks for joining, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
That's Jaz Shelley of the Nebraska women's basketball team, who made a pretty sweet run through the Big Ten women's basketball tournament. Yeah, I mean, just from an independent observer, I know I expressed this to you, Josh, at the beginning of the season. I just didn't know. I didn't know what they were going to be. I didn't know, and there was going to be a big weight on Jazz's shoulders to do a lot, and that's not. You can hear it. That's not her personality. She's not going to demand the ball and go score. I think that's something that she's had to develop a little bit, and so it was really dependent on other people showing up. And I just think you look at that freshman group that they have, and there is an edge to them that the program sort of has missed a little bit over the last couple of years, with Logan Nisley, and I mean, especially Natalie Potts, who was there right away, and Jess Petrie, and they'll get into people and they'll foul them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the reason why they have kind of cracked the code on Iowa with Caitlin Clark this year. That's the key with her. You gotta kind of push her around a little bit and push her off her spots and be physical with her. And there was periods of the win in Lincoln and then the game on Sunday where they just shut her out. I mean, that she wasn't getting good shots, she wasn't getting any shots, and she had to do stuff in other ways. So they finally did crack the code on that, although that was the last time they'll see Caitlin Clark now. So I don't know if it was too late, but they finally figured it out there at the end. But that was that grit, I guess, is the only way to describe it. That's something that was not necessarily there at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, they turned a corner about halfway through the season and have found the formula, and it's working right now. They deserve. I know they lost. I know we hate talking about moral victories, but they deserve a lot of praise for that little run. And I know the bracket broke the right way for them too, but they gutted out some wins and showed a lot of people a lot of things.
I just think the group, they really feed off of confidence, positive results and stuff like that. So a run like that to validate what they had done throughout the season was pretty important, because you could look at what they'd done this year. It's you beat Iowa, and Caitlin went away in the fourth quarter, and you had 20,000 people there, or whatever it was. I don't know, maybe we could just write that one off. No, that's not the mindset they took into that tournament. So I don't know. I obviously don't love them against a 1 seed in the second round of the NCAA tournament, but if they could find their way into a competitive game with one, they're not going to back down from it. So you're seeing the full kind of bloom of what they could have been. That is a good job by Amy Williams, right? And Jazz and team leaders and stuff like that to get them in that right place. But they are the full potential of what they could have possibly been right now. And it's the second week of March. And that's when you want to have that. Other Big Ten news here out of the conference before we take a quick time out. So Josh, you might have to help me collect these things.
I'm in no place to do that right now.
What do you mean? Where are you?
The Baltimore Ravens have signed Derrick Henry.
Josh, it's okay.
I knew this day was coming.
Yeah, you knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming. Still very sad.
You knew it was
What
coming.
do you need me to do? You need me to find something?
No, I just these Big Ten teams. So Keisei Tominaga, Rink Mast, were
Big Ten conference. Every player does not need a graphic. Come on.
Second and third team. So Rink Mast coaches third team, Tominaga media third team, and coaches second team.
That's a lot of words that you just said.
There's no Jawan Gary on any of these.
Yeah, he did not make the all defensive team. A lot of people in the YouTube chat upset
And
about that.
Fred Hoiberg is the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Jake Eisenberg will join us at 12:15 now. Young Jake. Wonder if he has thoughts on Derrick Henry. Probably not. He'd probably be like,
I
who?
can't imagine.
Be like, what are you talking about? But Josh has the odd news next on 1620 The Zone.
Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
O'Reilly. You need parts? O'Reilly Auto Parts has parts. Need them fast? We've got fast. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Lindley Clothing in Omaha has been the premier provider of men's fashion for over 88 years, from suits to jeans, with great brands like Jack Victor, Bugatti, Peter Millar. Your father was a customer. You're a customer. Your son is a customer, and now they're looking for the latest sportswear to tailored clothing. Lindley Clothing has you covered. They will help you get the look that you need with their selection and top-notch customer service. You walk in the door, and there's John and Marlene and the entire Lindley Clothing team with a great smile on their face, and they're to help you. 132nd and West Dodge in Linden Market to pick up the latest styles and enjoy easy access shopping.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn, but not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day, and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor or the pharmacy or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The Odd News with Oddson.
The Big Ten, while announcing their personnel of the year, first teams, second teams, third teams, 20th teams, freshmen and defensive and all this stuff,
coaches,
they say, congratulations to Iowa hoop star Brandon Brantley, the Big Ten men's basketball co-freshman of the year. And then the graphic is who actually won the award, Owen Freeman, Iowa's freshman standout, who won co-freshman of the year. Brandon Brantley, who they attempted to award the prize to, is an assistant coach for Purdue.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Couple things lost in translation there.
Yeah, that's all right.
Wow. Okay.
Josh, the odd news?
Yes, we begin actually with a comment on YouTube. This one comes from Andy. Build that statue for Fred. Just don't misspell a bunch of words and names like they did on Kobe's new statue in L.A.
Uh-oh, I don't know about this.
Which is where we begin. The Lakers unveiled a bronze statue of Kobe Bryant on February 8th, the first of 3 Bryant statues they plan to erect. That's right, 3 Kobe Bryant statues. But before they get started on the next one, they need to fix a few errors on the current one. The statue includes the entire box score from the Lakers' 122-104 victory over the Raptors on January 23rd, 2006, when Kobe Bryant scored 81 points. But the box score misspells Raptors player Jose Calderon's surname as Calderson.
Jose Calderson?
Calderson. The mistakes are not limited to just Toronto players. Lakers player whose last name was Von Wafer, who, by the way, got a DNP CD in that game, did not play coach's decision, and it's listed. He's made the statue for that because the entire box score is on there. His name is Von Wafer. It is spelled Vom Wafer.
I remember what was his first name?
I have no idea.
Well, didn't we just call him Von Wafer?
Yeah, but they spelled it Vom with an M instead of an N.
Oh! I thought you said his last name was Von Wafer. I thought his whole name was Von Wafer.
That's an entire name. Okay.
Yeah. His name was Von Wafer.
Like Vin Baker, Von Wafer.
Yeah, his name was Von Wafer.
Okay. I don't like that as a name. Try again.
What? Josh!
And
Von Wafer is a great name.
And in yet another typo, the words that follow Vom Wafer.
Von Wafer.
DNP coach's decision.
Why'd they put the whole box score on this?
I don't know. The word decision is spelled DECICION.
I don't understand. It is a statue. It will be there until the end of time. And you don't get to do a reprint, right?
You really don't.
You just do the statue one time.
Mm-hmm. If you have to send that through literally every person in the Lakers organization, hey, do you see any typos here? Do you see any typos? We're going to start chiseling this thing.
Yep.
Or I'm sure they do it with lasers now or whatever.
Yep. We're going to start lasering this thing. So it's last chance. I need you to look over this very carefully, everyone. We get this from every angle. Also, 3 Kobe Bryant statues?
3, that's right.
Okay.
You got anything against that, Connor?
Well, where will they be located?
I don't know. Is there like a monument park outside of Crypto.com Arena? I understand he meant a lot to the organization and the city, and he's a cultural icon, but 3 statues in one
3 is
arena?
3 is a lot. Anyway.
We go to baseball.
I love baseball.
You learn something new every day. And Keith Hernandez learned yesterday that the Mets have numbers on the front of their jerseys. Keith Hernandez, famed guest star on the hit sitcom Seinfeld, played 7 seasons for the Mets.
He did.
Where he wore jerseys with numbers on the front of them. And he's been a broadcaster for the club since 1998, where players have had jerseys with numbers on the front of them.
It's a pretty common baseball thing.
Yeah. Yet in the bottom of the 9th, with 2 outs of yesterday's spring training game, Steve Gelbs, the play-by-play guy for the New York Mets, noticed that the player at bat was wearing number 11 and the player on deck was wearing number 11.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what caught Keith Hernandez's eye. I did notice the number was on the stomach side, he said with some surprise, prompting Gelbs for a clarification. What do you mean? You didn't know there was a number there? And Hernandez said, yeah, without hesitation. And then that
honestly
made Gelbs reply, stop. Keith, really?
It's not something that you would think about, really. It really isn't.
No.
Like, it just blends in with the rest of the uniform.
Mhm.
So I guess it's understandable. But I will tell you this. For as much as we make fun of the Mets, and Josh, I don't know if you'll agree with this, we're going to continue making fun of the Mets for the rest of time.
Oh, I'll do it until the day I die.
Their broadcasts are great. Their broadcasts are hilarious because, pretty much Keith Hernandez.
He just gets up there and says stuff.
He just says stuff. It's really good. They have a great broadcast team.
I mean, it's not quite like Bill Walton-esque, but it has the vibe of anything can happen. Like they'll let him go anywhere he wants to go. Like it's fine.
Oh yeah, I mean he'll run into some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and Gary Cohen will just be like, he just leaves him there. It's the same thing with Ryan and Rex in Kansas City, and sometimes young Jake who joins us in 15 minutes in Rex. Just like he'll wander off into something. He'll be like, "Did you ever think about that?" Or whatever it might be. You ever think about pine tar? And
can't say I have.
Yeah, no. He just doesn't say anything. He just doesn't say anything. And you just basically the message that you're sending is, I would like you to continue this thought. Keep going, keep your brain going down that path, and we'll see where it ends up for you.
Just keep going.
I love it.
Just keep going.
Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez.
Now, we end the odd news today right here at home, Omaha, somewhere in middle America.
Hi.
A Nebraska teen was in a hurry Friday, according to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. Around 9:30, I believe this was last night, deputies pulled over a Kia Sorento that was caught going 117 miles an hour in a 55-mile-per-hour zone in West Omaha.
Pretty good for a Kia Sorento.
The driver, a 17-year-old from Douglas County, when pulled over and asked, "Hey, why are you going so fast? What's the rush?" He was on a break from work and he was rushing to meet his girlfriend.
What's weird about this?
Well, I mean, don't drive 117 to have a quickie with your girlfriend.
Well, I mean, so the story here is guy gets pulled over because guy gets pulled over, Josh, in Omaha.
He said he was on a break from work and he was rushing to meet his girlfriend.
Yeah.
What do you think was going to happen when he got there?
They probably eat lunch.
No. At 9:30 at night.
Say hello to each other.
This was sex, Connor.
Well, so what? Why is that our business?
That's hilarious.
No, it's not. It's not funny. This story is not funny, Josh. This isn't even odd.
It happened right here. That's why it's.
This is barely even odd.
That's why it happened. That's why it's here, because it happened.
Where did he get pulled over? Where did
it says West Omaha, a 55-mile-per-hour zone.
117. What should I Google to get to this story? Because I want to see some details.
My source on this is KLKN in Lincoln. Odd that the
come on
Omaha news services wouldn't be pushing this out. Come on, Connor.
What?
That is not an intellectual leap for me to say that at 9:30 at night on a break from work.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong, Josh.
Okay.
I'm not saying that you're wrong.
Okay.
I'm saying it's just not that interesting.
I just want to be right.
No, I mean that's probably what happened.
I've been not funny plenty of times. I want to be right.
No, you're definitely right. I mean, I think that definitely happened.
Okay.
But
now I will grant you, had this happened in Poughkeepsie or, Walla Walla.
I'm surprised this even made the news for Omaha.
Well, no, it didn't. I got it in Lincoln.
Kid got pulled over because he was going too fast?
117.
In a Kia Sorento, I guess maybe is the more interesting part of the story.
That is notable. Okay.
We get some comments here. Let's see what the people think.
Yeah. Let's take this to the people.
Chance says Connor here for reckless driving. I mean, I just think the kids drive recklessly all the time. And then 3ZPZ TV says very odd.
Thank you, 3ZPC TV.
Andy,
That's harder to say than you would think.
it's actually cool. 3ZPZ TV. Yeah. Andy says it was the first time the kid was going to see a woman naked.
Clearly.
Now, if you would have had that part of the story, if he would have told the police officer that, then that's funny. That's odd.
I have been texted that I am right and funny.
This story is funny.
Thank you.
Who said this?
People are laughing.
Who said this?
People who a friend of mine.
Of close relation to you?
Oh, yeah. I'll go close. I'll say we're close friends.
Text from the 402. It's funny, Josh.
Thank you. 402. Do we need to take this to the polls? Big day to vote in Bennington. We could vote right here in Omaha.
Maybe. Alex says name the source, by the way. You don't have to give your sources away, but I wonder about the source and who the source's allegiances lie toward.
Oh, my friend?
Your source, yeah.
Oh, my friend is Steve. Steve is my friend.
Steve just thinks you're funny.
Well, I think Steve's funny.
Without any evidence to you being funny.
I think we have plenty of data to prove that I have been funny in the past.
Yeah, take it to the polls.
Okay. How much context?
I want you to just tweet the story, the link to the story that you were reading off of.
Okay.
And just say, and you don't even have to make it a poll question today. Just ask, is this story funny?
Okay.
Just blank slate, leave it out there, and see how people respond to it. So please respond to it.
We'll put that up
in a mere moments at Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Okay, coming back, we'll talk to Jake Eisenberg here in just a few minutes. Yeah, young Jake. He is he's a broadcaster for the Kansas City Royals. I like talking about the Kansas City Royals.
You sure do. And I like letting you.
Come back with that more on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Are you a delivery driver looking for a better job opportunity? Host Coffee is a local family-owned coffee, water, and vending company that has been in business since 1972. We are growing, and we now have openings for delivery drivers and other positions starting at $22 an hour with full benefits. If you're interested, visit hostcoffee.net/careers to connect with us.
Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Here at the Salvation Army of Omaha, providing food to families in need is one of the most important things we do. And this year, the demand for food is on the rise at our Omaha pantry. That's why we're teaming up with 6 News WOWT for the Love Beyond Hunger food drive. There are 2 ways you can donate. Bring non-perishable items to our in-person food drive event at 87th and Dodge on March 14, or just donate online right now at salarmyfooddrive.org. That's salarmyfooddrive.org. Thanks for your support.
Hi, friends. Kent Pavelka courtside getting ready for this year's matchup between the Average Roofing Companies and the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. The Average Roofers are just that, average at best, not very impressive. The Rooferees, above and beyond the opponent, more dependable, service that exceeds the norm, good sportsmanship, fairness, and integrity. You know them, you love them, and they're ready to win for you. Make the right call with John Higgins Weather Guard. It's tip-off time with the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Make the right call!
Need tires but can't get away? Or is your company fleet plagued by unscheduled downtime? Check out Jensen Mobile Express Services at jensentireandauto.com. The easiest way to get new tires delivered and installed at your location. Jensen.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Riding season is here, and it's time to trade in and trade up. Or, if you ain't riding it, Luss Hills Harley Davidson is buying it. Sell your Harley Davidson today. Luss Hills Harley Davidson. Rise up and ride on.
Trees. Are they all the same? Not at Lanahaw. Grown from a quality seed source, handcrafted in our local farms for generations, and acclimated to our tough Midwestern climate, Lanahaw's trees are different. Simply put, they're better. Much like our trees, we take great pride in being homegrown. Visit our garden center to find your next tree today. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
College basketball's biggest tournament is coming, and it's time to start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circa Sports Iowa. It's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, tight money line splits, exceptional customer service, and more. Fund and bet like a pro anywhere, anytime. It's never been easier. Download your new bookie before all of the March action at circasports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, response is rolling in on is Josh funny or not?
A lot of passionate people on both sides.
Is this story
This is not
funny?
a referendum on me as a funny person.
Oh, I think it's, if you think this is funny, I think differently about your sense of humor.
Interesting.
Let's go to the Twitter real quick here. Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
Am I still waiting on the punchline or the funny part of that story? Do you think we will get to that after the break?
That's well written, Aaron. I can't argue that.
Travis is on your side, Josh. He says, yes, producer Josh clearly has a better sense of humor than Connor Happer.
Thank you, Travis. I'm glad you see it as plainly as a lot of other people.
Let's see. Then I definitely got another one at some point in there too. Where did it go? Maybe it's back on the YouTube. Maybe not. I think we got some more, but many people are agreeing with me that story was not funny.
It sounds like many are agreeing with you, yes. Even though you don't have their names or comments anywhere.
Are you going to Mike Trout is a bust this and just never give in?
But
that this story is not funny, or are you going to admit it?
There's no reason for me to cave on an issue that I am correct about.
All right, so you're going to Mike Trout as a bust this.
No.
I think you are.
If you remember.
Very interesting.
Jimmy relented.
Eventually. It took him way too long. By the way, speaking of Nebraska women's basketball, you can go back and check out the Jaz Shelley conversation from a few minutes ago at 1620thezone.com. But also, as of this morning, CBS Sports told us how many people watched the game. The most watched women's college basketball conference tournament game ever on any network.
Ever.
Was
any.
Nebraska's lost to Iowa in the conference title game. Big Ten conference championship game averaged more than 3 million viewers and peaked with 4.45 million viewers in overtime. Iowa's overtime victory against Nebraska was the most watched college basketball game of the day on any network. And that game is the most watched women's college basketball game on CBS in the last 25 years.
No, they don't have a lot of women's
Not a lot of women's
CBS.
basketball games. A Tennessee UConn game in 1999 got almost 4 million viewers. And so the Caitlin Clark effect, I guess, rolls.
Oh, no. Chance on YouTube has got a better name for it.
What are we calling it?
The Jaz Shelley effect.
I mean, they were they were quite the story going into that game. That's for sure.
CBS didn't pop that number until Jaz Shelley showed up.
Interesting. I see a lot of people making commentary about what the what Caitlin Clark or what this means for women's basketball and all this stuff. I'd be really curious to see what happens. Like, I think it has definitely like made people more aware of the game, but we know why people watch. Like we know, if you're talking about popping that kind of number, right? If you're talking about 4 million people watching the game, like that doesn't happen without Caitlin Clark, right? So, kind of be curious to see how it evolves as we go on throughout the rest of the season. I think the tournament will be one of the most watched things that we find. I also have time to what?
I mean, Iowa can't falter.
Yes. So it's time for me to unleash this bad boy. Josh, why don't you give a call to young Jake?
Okay.
We're not going to take a break before.
Oh, okay.
We're going to go straight into it. I think the Iowa women's basketball team will. I definitely don't think they're going to make the Final Four, and I definitely don't think they're going to win the national championship. Or Caitlin Clark is not going to get her storybook ending. I think they're a little bit vulnerable, maybe even before that, depending on what kind of matchup they get in the first couple rounds.
Connor, I need you to say this in a 30-second snippet so we can.
No, I want to drag it out. I want to drag it out because I'm scared of even saying it, to be completely honest with you. But I think there's a chance that Iowa could lose early in the tournament this year. Certainly earlier than the TV networks want Iowa to lose. That much is for sure. So maybe I won't burn it like I did yesterday with basketball is better than football. Sorry, Josh. You're going to have to find something else for us to click on today.
I'll get you saying it. Don't worry.
No. I didn't say anything.
I can edit it.
No, you can. That's the problem. You've been out there making me look bad. For clicks. Of all things, for clicks.
Does Connor think Caitlin Clark will make it
Does
out of
Connor
the first
agree
weekend?
with Michael Wilbon on all things analytics?
You did that one time.
No, I just did that one time. All right. We are happy to be joined now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline by our good friend Jake Eisenberg at the Kansas City Royals down in lovely, sunny Surprise, Arizona. Jake, hello. Good afternoon. How are you? Oh, wait. We got to turn him over. Hey, Jake. Go ahead.
It's a pleasure to join you.
What's going on, my friend? I saw, so you got married and then long honeymoon and then straight to Arizona. Not bad.
Yeah, no, pretty much we got married. About 2 days later, we were off to Argentina for a couple of weeks, got back to KC, lived the married life for a week. And then I said, all right, Jen, it's been fun. I'll see you in 8 months. But no, it's been great. She's actually down here visiting for a little bit. And it's been a really good camp so far.
Yeah, very cool. What's the vibe like right now? It's been around for a couple of weeks. I assume we're probably about to reach the point where they're gonna start getting a little bit sick and tired of it and want to go up north a little bit. But I imagine there's a pretty good energy about the team right now, given the kind of conversation surrounding them.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an itch to get going and do the real thing, but I also think that there's a level of excitement to just do the thing every day that, you see in spring training. They say hope springs eternal in spring training, and that's true for the Royals last year, and things didn't go so well. It's true this year, and who knows how things are going to go, but I think that there's a really good level of excitement with the blend of a lot of the core being a year older and a year wiser, and the veterans that were brought in to kind of raise the floor of this team. And I think that everybody here can kind of see that this is a division that's up for the taking and that it's not all that far-fetched to see a path to an AL Central title.
No. How much security, I guess, even internally, obviously it sends a big message to the rest of the sport that the Royals would be willing to lock up Bobby Witt Jr. for a long time and spend more money on a player than they ever have. But how does that manifest itself on a daily basis within the locker room and the type of role that he now gets to take on with the team starting, basically right now?
That's an interesting question because the truth is, like, the extension's amazing and really signals, I think, to the rest of the league how serious the Royals are about building what they're building. But it doesn't actually change what the lineup looks like for 2024 because he was always going to be here. But I think that I don't know if it's the extension or just being a year older and now entering a third big league season. But you see Bobby Witt Jr. really starting to embrace his role as a leader in the clubhouse, a leader in the community, a face of the franchise. Make no mistake, Salvador Perez is the captain. He is still the leader of that clubhouse and leader of this team. But we saw kind of toward the tail end of last season, Bobby start to figure out what leadership meant to him and what his leadership style was. And I remember talking to him a little about that last year, and he was kind of saying how important it was just to make sure guys know that he's always there to talk to. He's always there to listen. He's always there to help someone get through something the same way so many other guys have been there to help him get through stuff. I think that he learned a lot about leadership from his experience at the World Baseball Classic and being around guys like Mike Trout, who have been looked upon as a leader their entire careers. And we know that Mike Trout generally is a lead by example kind of guy. And I think Bobby has a lot of that in him too. And so it's been really fun and interesting to watch him mature both as a player and as a person.
How do you think he'll embrace the role of being like, dude number one? Obviously not just for the city, but he's rated by most as like a top 20 player in baseball at the moment. Like, how do you feel like he's embraced that or come to embrace that this offseason going into this year?
I don't know that it's something necessarily he's had to embrace. He's kind of been that his entire career, hasn't he? From the moment he was drafted, second overall, he's always been the guy. And, he's always been the guy that's coming, the guy of the future. But now he's the guy who's here. To borrow a Game of Thrones phrase, I guess, he's always sort of been the prince that was promised in a way. And I think that as you grow with that and you learn what that's like, and not to mention growing up, in big league clubhouses and your dad is a big leaguer for 17 years, I think that there's an osmosis that happens there where it's not so much something that is super foreign or something that you need to embrace, something that just is a part of who you are.
How good is it to have Vinny Pasquantino back in the locker room on a daily basis?
Oh, it is great. I mean, even in the clubhouse last year, but he was, like he said, he felt like a caged animal. I'm looking at Vinny right now. He's about to get on the bus because we're heading to Scottsdale.
Oh, say hi to Vinny for us.
I will. But
Okay.
he's been great. He's been itching to get on the field. I'd actually been meaning to talk to him this morning. I hadn't seen him, but he played 3 straight games, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then was off yesterday, but back in the lineup today. So, that's 4 games in 5 days, which tells you that he's feeling really good, that he's itching to be out there. He's putting that shoulder to the test. Not that it needs to be tested, but you can tell that he's starting to feel a little bit more like himself because this was a thing that had been bothering him for, the better part of a couple of seasons. It just kind of came to a fore in May of last year. And so having him back on the field, I think is a huge point of energy for the Royals. Having him back in the clubhouse and playing is a big point of energy, but having him back in the lineup just lengthens everything and makes this lineup a whole lot more dangerous.
What do you think the next step is for Michael Garcia, who, I mean, you saw him coming up through the minor leagues and all he does is hit all the time. He was great in Kansas City last year. Like, what is the next evolution of him as we try to figure out what the rest of his kind of career is going to look like?
I think if there was one thing that was missing with him last year, it was a little bit of thump.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that he's capable of the slug. He led the Royals minor leaguers in doubles in 2022. We didn't see as much of that at the big league level last year. And to be honest, I don't think that's a problem, especially he's going to be at the top of the lineup. You want him to have more bat-to-ball skills and a good strikeout-to-walk ratio and be getting on base. And so, to be honest, you'd like to see a few more doubles. You'd like to see a few more homers. But I don't know that that's something that the team needs out of Michael Garcia so much as the strong bat-to-ball skills that he has, the defense that he showed last year at third base. And then, I mean, I don't know if you look at his Venezuelan Winter League numbers.
Yeah.
The strikeout-to-walk ratio there, he walked 3 times as much as he struck out. Down in Venezuela. And obviously that's not the big leagues, but that's a great eye at the plate against, some really good pitching.
You probably asked that question, rhetorically, hey, this guy's not looked at the Venezuelan Winter League numbers, but I did. No, I did.
No, I know you have. That's the thing. I know you have.
When you combine all the additions in the bullpen and all the additions in the starting rotation as well, there's just so much new blood out there. Is there a feeling of freshness, I guess, that, the Royals could have desperately used over the last couple of years. Just, hey, we got some new blood in here, got some guys who have developed, and maybe they get helped along by some new blood as well. Like, what's the feeling like in the rotation and in the bullpen right now?
Well, I'll start with this because, we've talked to Mac Quatrero every day. We've talked to all these guys pretty much every day. And yeah, last year comes up, but the kind of narrative, the feeling, and the truth is that last year's last year, and last year's over. And there's not a whole lot of point in dwelling on what happened last year. And I think that shows itself, for the most part, when you look at the rotation, when you look at the bullpen. As far as the bullpen is concerned, there's one guy returned to that bullpen that made more than 25 appearances, and that's Carlos Hernandez, who's currently dealing with some shoulder stuff, and we haven't seen take the mound yet. He led the team in appearances last year, but again, as of right now, he's not a part of that bullpen because he's been dealing with the shoulder stuff. He's scheduled to potentially throw a bullpen sometime this weekend. That's what Matt Quatrero said this morning. But outside of that, it's pretty much a brand new group. And sure, there are some guys that, joined the Royals bullpen last year, like James MacArthur, who really shined in September and October. So he's technically somebody that was there last year that will be a part of that group this year. But other than that, Will Smith, Chris Stratton, Nick Anderson, John Schreiber, those are 4 new pieces that are entrenched in your bullpen. You've got Seth Newell and Michael Wackett, new pieces that are entrenched in your starting rotation. Cole Reagans is sort of a new piece. You got 12 starts last year. That's not a ton, especially when you're expecting, 31, 32, where you hope it falls somewhere in that range. That's more than twice as many. So I think the sense is that it's a brand new pitching staff, and looking at some of those bullpen numbers from last year, really the only use in that is to show contrast of what this year should be and could be.
Have you seen anything to lead you to believe that Cole Reagans won't build off of last year and what he did at the end of the season and won't translate this into a full year of what was really Cy Young caliber stuff at the end of last year?
Yeah, he was the best pitcher in the American League in the second half of the season, and there's every evidence that none of it was a fluke, and all of it will be repeated. He's throwing today against the Rockies in Scottsdale. I, for one, am so excited because that's the only ballpark out here that has StatCast data. So we'll be able to know exactly how hard he's throwing and exactly how much his pitches are moving. He was supposed to throw against the Rockies in Scottsdale on Thursday. That game sadly got rained out, but he'll be on the mound today, and we'll get to see exactly what he's cooking with, basically, and at least from the eye test, because we haven't had metrics yet. He looks incredible. He threw a fastball, I think, in one of his first spring training outings that was 101 with 20 inches of inverted vertical break, which is basically absolutely insane. And so if he's coming with that kind of stuff and he's sitting at the top of this rotation and he does that consistently, I think that bodes really well for the Royals, not just this year, but for many years to come.
Music to my ears, my friend. Jake, always good to chat. Enjoy the rest of your time in the desert. Say hi to Vinny for us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for adjusting with the schedule for me. Spring training fluidity knows no true enemies. So always good to talk to you guys, and we'll catch up soon.
Yep. See ya. That's Jake Eisenberg of the Kansas City Royals.
You doing good? You doing good?
Whatever you just felt with Derrick Henry signing to the Baltimore Ravens, I felt the exact opposite.
Okay.
Of when he was talking about Cole Reagans throwing 101 and, nothing. Because you wonder, right? Guy had a great 3 months. He had a great 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing to say throughout the beginning of his career, whether, it's starting in Texas. And when they got Cole Reagans from Texas, they traded him for Aroldis Chapman, and they sent him to Omaha. And I saw his first start in Omaha at Werner Park with the Chasers. He was electric. And I'm like, what is this guy? What is going on? And there was really not anything to suggest that would happen based on what he had been in the Texas organization before. And so I think that's a real credit to, the Royals have obviously never been known for their pitching development, but they have changed a lot about how they've gone about their business in the last couple of years. And so to immediately get that out of a guy who you were going to trade anyway, and Chapman, is awesome. And then to have him go to the major leagues and not just be good, but be dominant, and not just be dominant for a start and flashes of dominance, as you always see with young players. He was good for 15 starts at the end of last year. So that is my primary guy that I'm wondering about this year. and every time I hear his name, I'm like, what's going to happen? So to hear Jake say there's nothing to suggest that is any sort of fluke is pretty. Makes me feel some things, Josh.
Hello.
Makes me feel some things. Travis.
Hi, Travis.
Will Connor own up to this distasteful agenda pushing? Agenda pushing of the Royals? Is this what we're talking about?
No, this stems from many people.
I am definitely pushing the Royals agenda. I will say that.
You are, but we've known that about you.
Yes.
Actually, there's thoughts that you are pushing a Caitlin Clark agenda and also an anti-Caitlin Clark agenda. So
interesting.
I don't know how it can be both.
Let me address the allegations,
Okay,
Josh.
please.
Let me address the allegations. I feel like I've made my Caitlin Clark stance very clear over the last several months. Here it is. Don't like watching her play basketball. It's not an enjoyable experience for me, partly because she wears an Iowa uniform. And I am involved closely with the Nebraska women's basketball team. Yes, I will admit that that's a part of it. There is some bias on my part, but she's going like this all the time.
You don't like random 38-footers?
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I just not a fan of the style personally. It's fun to watch when they go in.
The efficiency numbers, not great.
Not great.
A lot of shots.
Although she's also tops in the country in assists, so she does a lot for her team. The way that she impacts winning is incredible, but it's just not my taste for a variety of different reasons. However, as a person, she seems awesome, and she seems like a great ambassador for the sport, and always says the right thing with the media, like does the right deals. Like
She's had a lot of moments over the last 2 years, and she has met them all.
Yes, it could have gone sideways for her a variety of different times, and it just hasn't. And so I have total respect for her in that regard. I do not hate her. I just don't love watching her play basketball. So somehow I just middle grounded that.
And you think they're going to be one and done in the tournament?
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said they might go out early. Who knows?
One and done is pretty early.
The thing is, like, if you pin me down on this, I'm going to have a tough time.
You got to see the bracket.
Yeah, I got to see the bracket, but I mean, do I predict it just to say, man, I was the only person who said this? Because I do think they're going to get beat. They're obviously not going to win the national championship.
Obviously.
How quickly do I get to they're going to get bumped off the rails? Round of 32, Sweet 16, Elite 8. I'll say this. I don't think they're going to the Final Four. I don't think they have that run in them.
The networks would be very sad. ABC will not know what to do with themselves.
And she would have to get a lesson from my guy Steve Max and play Simon Says at the halftime shows, just so the networks could be happy.
Oh, we've just been informed that the women's basketball has agreed to play consolation rounds on television.
Interesting.
The top 10 will all get a consolation game.
All right. Thanks to young Jake for joining the show. Somebody thought this was a good text. Maybe it was an email. God, I always lose these. Oh, yes. John emails in.
Hi, John.
Subject line, Jake. Is young Jake calling from the lead jungle?
There's a lot of whistling.
It's just baseball dudes.
Yep.
Hop on the bus. Say hi to Vinny for me.
Hop on the bus.
All right, we'll come back.
Jimmy,
we're up next in the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But first, a reminder to shoot and score your way to lovely, fabulous home of Wayne Newton in Las Vegas during the basketball championship tournament this year. One lucky 1620 The Zone listener will snag a VIP flyaway trip to Circa Resort and Casino and watch the action on a 40-foot screen from 6 pools. I could say 40-foot screen with 6 pools, but it's better if you look at 40-foot screen with 6 pools. Go to our Twitter account at 1620 The Zone and check out some of the graphics that we have for this. It's unbelievable stuff. I'm sure you've seen it floating around. Anyway, that's where you can be. All you got to do is head on over to 1620thezone.com. And if you don't win that, you'll have a chance to win one of our consolation prizes, which is pretty dang good. a watch party at Backlot Tap House in Exarban for you and your friends. Head over to Win and subscribe to the email list, 1620thezone.com.
The Connor Happer Show.
Who's pitching tonight?
Yu Darvish, having a great year.
The Connor Happer Show.
I know about that guy.
On 1620, The Zone.
What a mess.
Previously on The Crossover.
All right, let's see. So Danville Dairy Daddies. Look at that. Look at that horny cow. Look at the eyes on this bad boy.
Is the cow giving the eyes?
There's something weird about that. No, I can't say.
He is a bull. This is a dairy daddy. Oh, his name is McCreamy.
Got it. Perfect.
Mornings with Sharp and Hanley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
It's a mild start to the day with temperatures in the upper 40s. Winds stay calm throughout the day, clouds filling in, and we warm up to a temperature near 70 degrees. And enjoy that weather we have today, because tomorrow during the late evening hours, we have some storm chances. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery, KETV Newswatch 7.
The Connor Happer Show returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
Lula Bee's Breakfast, Brunch, and Bar is downtown Omaha's go-to spot for great food with a Mexican flair. Lula Bee's has everything from French toast and omelets to shrimp tacos and burgers. There's even a full bar with uniquely inspired spring fling cocktails. Want to have a party? Lula Bee's has a party room that seats up to 65 of your favorite people with custom catering available. Book for graduation parties, family events, bridal celebrations, or just brunch with all your friends. Lula Bee's, 9th and Dodge, or at lulabeesomaha.com.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, well, use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Creighton Sports Update. Creighton softball is back. The team hosts Ryder tomorrow afternoon in a doubleheader beginning at 1 p.m. All fans receive free admittance to all home softball games. For more information or to follow along on all things Creighton, visit gocreighton.com. And that's your Creighton Sports Update.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Hey, baseball fans, ready to catch all the action this season? Tickets for Less is your ultimate ticket destination for the best seats at the best prices. As an authorized marketplace of MLB tickets, Tickets for Less offers transparent, upfront pricing and no added service fees at checkout. So shop Royals, Chasers, and more at ticketsforless.com or visit their Omaha office at 145th and West Center Road or call now at 402-398-1999. With Tickets for Less, you'll always get the best customer service, and you can save even more now when you use my promo code THEZONE at checkout today.
Welcome back, Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. You can check out our text line Twitter account at Zone Text Line for some of the best
Twitter account.
Some of the best from the various ways you can get in contact with the show. Screenshot of a message from Travis who says this: Connor tucked up Omaha basketball, cursing them to lose, and now is disparaging Iowa's tourney chances in an attempt to embolden Iowa to win. Now that is some galaxy brain stuff.
It's what I did with Nebraska men's basketball.
Interesting.
Thought I really was going to cancel them.
Taking a page out of Josh's book.
Mm-hmm. A very funny book.
That is not what I'm doing. Not even a little bit. What you see is what you get with me, Josh. I'm not playing a big, long game here. It's one game. All right. So yesterday we had Sam McEwen on the show, and I asked him about Creighton. And I asked him, hey, Sam, do you think Creighton could win a national championship? And then I almost couched it, and I was like, do you think they can get to the Final Four?
Mm-hmm.
And he stopped me halfway through. He's like, yes, I think they could win a national championship. And I think they could get a 1 seed. I'm paraphrasing. But he did say that.
Yes, he did take a question about championships.
Yes.
And inject on his own accord something about them getting a 1 seed.
And so I thought about Creighton as a 1 seed last night, and then it was the same feeling I had when Jake was talking about Cole Reagan. What's going on? My brain doesn't work anymore. The Royals are developing young pitchers and have Cy Young capabilities, and Creighton could be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. And so I thought about it some more. I was like, wait, is this a reality that I actually might have to prepare to live in? So who did I ask? Our good friend Bart Torvik. Not the person, the website. But it is the person's website. And they have a couple cool tools on there. And
the U down feature is very nice this time of year.
They both have like a couple historical comparison type of tabs here. So they have similar efficiency profiles, and then they have similar resume profiles. And so I checked out Creighton for both of them. This is heading into the conference tournament, of course, this weekend. People forget. So let's do the team profile, like the efficiency profiles. Adjusted offense, adjusted defense. Bart Torvik does a thing called T-rank. And then they look at some other teams over the years and show you what they were seeded and where they ended up in the NCAA tournament. Here's how Creighton looked team profile-wise compared to some others. 2024 Creighton on Bart Torvik's rating system has a 122 adjusted offense, 98 adjusted defense, and then 67 adjusted T-score, which you don't need to know any of those numbers. I'm just giving them to you for reference. Similar teams to 2024 Creighton. 2016 Gonzaga, who was an 11 seed. This is like before like Gonzaga really burst on the scene as a national. I mean, they were still a national program at the time, but I think they were still kind of used to being mid-major, having that tag attached to them, right? They were an 11 seed that year in the NCAA tournament. So not a great example because they don't come from a power conference, but they did go to the Sweet 16. 2013 Creighton. This is another mid-major team. This is the Jays last year in the Valley, but it's the same team as basically, Doug's senior year, which was the next year, their first year in the Big East. They won a game in the tournament. They beat who they play in the first round. So that would have been the year that they played Duke in the second round, and they beat like Cincinnati, I want to say, in the first round of the NCAA tournament that year. I believe that's right. Close game, rock fight. I think they beat Cincinnati.
What year?
2013, the 2013 NCAA tournament.
2013, 2014?
No, 2012, 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be why you were dead wrong.
Correct.
You are correct, yes.
I know ball.
Cincy 67-63, lost to Duke 66-50.
Told you. So they were a 7 seed that year. Another mid-major, lost in the round of 32 to Duke. 2023 Creighton, which is just last year Creighton. They went to the Elite 8. They were a 6 seed. Some others. 2018 Purdue was a 2 seed out of this group. Michigan had a similar profile in 2021 to Creighton right now, and they ended up being a 1 seed and going to the Elite 8. That's what I was looking for. The historical context of a team like this, looking like this, ever being a 1 seed. And the long and short of it is basically you're at the mercy of what happens around you. And that'll happen with Creighton this weekend. Either way, they're 1, 2, 3. I mean, either way, it's good for Creighton. But we're still talking about Creighton being potentially a 1 seed if it works out really well for them. So there is one team in terms of how they look that ended up getting a 1 seed that was similar profile to Creighton right now, and that was 2021 Michigan that went all the way to the Elite 8. Then there was the resume comparison tool via our friends from Bart Torvik, Mr. Torvik, Dr. Torvik, I guess.
So many titles.
So I was looking for some historical context on resumes, and really, this is going to tell you your answer. If you want seeding, like what's the historical context for what they're going to be seeded, this is the one you want to find, because that's the seeding is the resume. But how deep you go into the tournament, that's the profile. That's the one we were just talking about. So it's good to see that there's some teams that advanced, to the Final Fours and stuff like that beyond that. But resume-wise, Creighton has a net of 12 at the moment. According to Bart Torvik, they have the 4th best resume, just grand total in the country. And they're top 10 in various other metrics as well. But those are the ones that are used for this particular resume comparer. And if you look, there is some historical context for a team who has a resume like this to be a 1 seed. 2011 Pitt had a very similar resume to where Creighton is right now. That team did get a 1 seed, but they lost to Butler in the second round of the NCAA tournament, and that was the year Butler went on to play VCU in the Final Four and then lost to UConn in the final. Butler lost 2 national championship games in that period of time.
Right.
So anyway, that's the historical context on that. They got upset by a team that made a run to a special team that made a run to a national championship, but they were a 1 seed. A lot of other 2s, some 3s on this list as well. And various types of teams that some got beat in the first round, some got beat in the second round, some made it all the way to the Elite 8, some made it all the way to the Final Four. And so the point is this. The problem is that the bracket is basically already done by the time that high major conference tournament title games happen on Saturday and Sunday. That much is true. I do not think it hurts Creighton to have their conference championship game on Saturday, which is where they would have to get to and win in order to be talking about the things that we're talking about in reality here. Once again, we're talking about Creighton being a 1 seed. The argument for it is that nobody seems to really want that 4th number 1 seed at this point. We have spent this entire season just slotting a whole bunch of new teams into that 4 spot.
Seeing if they stick.
It's been Houston, UConn, Purdue, some combination of those 3 the entire year as the best 3 teams in the country. And then we got to find a 4th. Arizona's had their turn. Tennessee's had their turn. North Carolina's had their turn. Why doesn't somebody else get a turn, Josh? That's what that's the agenda that I'm pushing. Bart Torvik gives the Jays they have a tournament odds kind of section here. 17.6% chance at the auto bid, so winning the Big East tournament. Their average, their odds for what they would be seeded in the tournament as of right now is 2.4. The odds of a 2.4 seed. That increases with every win. And Dr. Bart gives them a 1.5% chance at a 1 seed. So yes, Josh, I am indeed saying that there is a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance.
Yes.
That's all I needed to hear.
From the text line.
Hi, text line.
But Connor, Creighton has lost 28% of their games. Once again, many teams lose games, and admittedly, it's a long shot. Admittedly, I'm actually not making the case right now, Josh. I'm not making the case for Creighton to be a 1 seed.
You're saying
I don't think they deserve it at this point.
There's a case.
I don't even know that there's a case at this moment. I'm saying that there's a chance that it happens. Right? There's a difference. I'm not making the case. I don't know what the case would be for them to be a 1 at this moment, but they would need some things to break the right way, like Tennessee bowing out and, somebody else faltering, Arizona, whatever it might be. And Creighton going all the way, beating Marquette and UConn again, to win the Big East title. If all that happens, then I believe they would have a case to be a
case.
They would have a case. They wouldn't be locked up by any means. Jeff writes in.
Hi, Jeff.
Not this again. Creighton is a 3 seed in almost all projections, and they are not winning a championship. What do you think about that, Josh?
What do I think about what? What part of it?
They're not winning a championship?
I mean, it is very easy for anyone on March 12th to say that the odds are against any team. You taking Creighton or the field? Yeah, obviously you would take the field.
I don't know how you could confidently say like that. Aside from one of those top 3 teams that I talked about, Purdue, UConn, in Houston, like if you just take them out of the picture entirely, why does Creighton not have a chance to win a national championship?
I guess the reasoning would be a really strong defensive team has shown that they can lock Creighton up.
When was that?
A very long time ago against Colorado State and UNLV.
Okay. So, I mean, first of all, like, I don't know how good those teams aren't necessarily super high profile defensively. Colorado State has a top 35 defense in the country. UNLV has a top 100 defense in the country. It's not like those teams are juggernauts. I would say a couple things on that. If we're trying to poke holes on this, I would say that that happened in November and December, and that Creighton was a different team then, and that they played poorly offensively to initiate those circumstances happening. UConn was a case of it, but they made good for it when they came back here. Like, I just think if you're trying to poke holes in what Creighton has done so far this year, like I could answer to every single one of their problems. Because ultimately I think their personnel is just as good as anybody else in the country. I think they have good enough players to win the national championship. This is not 2014. This is not, they're and they had Doug that year, so maybe that's a bad comparison, but like, this is not Creighton let it fly. Hey, because I hear it constantly on these broadcasts. They talk about, Creighton's going to shoot it, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to get up 33s, and if they don't make any of them, then they won't win. Like, that makes it sound like they are a 3-point reliant team. Everybody's a 3-point reliant team. Everybody's a 3. If you make 3 out of 33s, you ain't going to win in the NCAA tournament. Breaking news. Breaking news. They're not, like, you're not going to win a game in the NCAA tournament if you make 2 3-pointers. It's not going to happen. That is the case for everyone. Ultimately, if stuff breaks down like it always does in the NCAA tournament, I think Creighton has better players than just about everybody in the country. And I know that's a difficult adjustment for people to swallow, but Baylor Shireman is first team All Big East, and he'll have a chance to win the Player of the Year tomorrow. And he's going to be getting some run on All-American teams. Trey had that last year. Kalkbrenner is one of the most important players in the country for what they put on his shoulders defensively, and certainly can get his own offensively, as Matt DeMarinis refers to him as a cheat code. And Stephen Ashworth is basically the best shooter in the country last year, and he's really turned it on this year. And he's not a liability defensively. Like, I just think their personnel is better than almost everybody else. And when you combine it with the system, it's a super dangerous combination. So, like, there's not a team in the country. We said this earlier. There's not a team in the country who you go like player for player with, including UConn, who you'd be like, yeah, I just think UConn wins all 5 of those one-on-one matchups, and therefore they're going to win. They're going to, beat Creighton or whatever it is. There is not a single team in the country where that is the case. Not one of them.
What about a team that plays a very frustrating style like Houston, where they want to slow it down, they want to give you 40 minutes of hell or whatever?
I've thought about this a little bit, Josh. Obviously, Homer, whatever. I think they would pick apart Houston.
Connor.
I think they would pick apart Houston. They are super pressure defense. And I mean, it's the same idea. Obviously, they do it with more physicality and they do it with better athleticism. But what they're doing defensively is basically just blitzing the crap out of you. And I think Creighton has shown it's kind of an equivalent to like what Nebraska does, what Nebraska is trying to do defensively. They're just going to run at you, right? And they can recover because they're athletic and all that stuff. But like, I just think Creighton has shown so many examples of picking those types of defenses apart in the past because of their precision and how good they are at skipping and stuff like that. Like, I think they would do just fine there. And then defensively, like they have Kalkbrenner, and that's kind of the story, for them on the defensive end.
You sound very biased, but also,
am I making any good points? I hope I am.
No, you are. You absolutely are. I also don't think it's not about right, wrong, but like you're making the case that they have a case.
Yeah.
They're one of the, let's call it 12 teams that can confidently say, we got a shot at this thing.
Yeah. I think there's 3 who can say, we can stake our claim to being the best team in the country. Therefore, we have a heightened chance to win a better chance to win a national championship than any of the other 350 teams in the country. There's 3 that could say that. Creighton's not one of those. Creighton is in the very next group. And so if you're saying like these numbers are so off, but like if the implied chances for Purdue, Houston, and UConn to win a national championship is like 10% or something like that, winning the national championship, then Creighton's is like 7.
Okay.
Right? Like it's not, and you get them in a game. Like I don't think they have a obvious disadvantage with anybody. We've been racking our brains for the last 2 months trying to figure out what is the type of team that gives Creighton problems. And there's all these examples of these different types of teams in the Big East or who they played out of conference and like whatever it might have been. And I just like, I haven't found it. They've passed all these different tests. Like maybe a team, I opine here, like maybe it's a team that plays like St. John's a little bit.
Yeah.
They have a couple guys who could just get to their spots and they get super hot that day and they start canning mid-range jumpers and Creighton's having a bad day. But that's kind of the story of it. Like Creighton's got to have a bad day. I don't know. Yeah, I'm biased. Whatever. I think that's my real life analysis.
I just hope this doesn't come back to bite you in the butt, Connor. I wouldn't like that for you.
How would that happen?
If they don't get to the Elite Eight, fans of another program will not identify that program, are going to say, oh, interesting. Didn't get as far as last year.
Yeah, I mean, Purdue could have won the national championship last year and they lost in the first game.
Yeah, and
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about their chances to win the national. Like I'm talking about in a world where I'm trying to rank the best teams in the country. Of course they could lose in the first game. Of course they could lose in the second game. Of course they could lose in the third game. But I think they have a better chance than 95% of the country to get to the 6th game. That's what I'm telling you. They can, of course, lose in the first game, just like anybody can. They could be at the same. They could go home at the exact same time as South Dakota State or Denver, whoever makes it out of the Summit League. Yeah. That could happen.
No disrespect to the Pioneers,
but I can tell you with great certainty that Denver ain't going to the Final Four.
Wow,
that's right. Put that one on the board.
Marked that one down.
We'll talk to Jacob Bigelow next on 1620 The Zone.
Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is and has always been locally owned and operated. Now, with 160 employee owners, chances are one of us lives in your neighborhood. We take pride in taking care of you, our customers, and keeping you comfortable. all year round. And as always, our technicians don't have sales quotas. When other companies send salespeople, Standard Sense qualified technicians is just part of.
Carrier, turn to the experts.
Family is important to me. So is shopping local and getting the best for my money. And at Jensen Tire and Auto, I get it all. They're a family-owned company that started right here in 1973. My family's been going to Jensen for years for tires, routine service, and maintenance, even engine repairs. That's because we know at Jensen, they do tires and auto service right. And Jensen's team of tire and auto service professionals really take pride in what they do. Maybe that's because it's a locally owned and family-owned business. It's hard to say, but I like it.
Hi, I'm Matt Jensen, president of Jensen Tire and Auto, inviting you to experience the difference at our locally owned and family-owned company. Check us out at JensenTireandAuto.com today.
Get ready for warm weather driving with early spring tire deals at Jensen. Save up to $200 on Goodyear, Cooper, General, Continental, Maxxis, and Kelly tires. Check out Jensen's early spring tire deals at JensenTireandAuto.com today.
The college basketball championship is fast approaching, and 1620 The Zone has your chance to win a local 1620 The Watch Party at Backlot Tap House in Exarban for you and your crew. Come on! Plus, we're taking 1620 The Watch Party to Las Vegas. One grand prize winner will score a flyaway to Las Vegas to stay at the Circa Resort and Casino. Join in on the madness. Don't miss your shot to enter to win now at 1620thezone.com. Powered by Circa Resort and Casino and Backlot Tap House.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is your home for the big game. We're in the middle of the best time of the year of basketball season, with meaningful games every night, with 40 TVs and massive dual projectors. The games have never looked better. Pair that with their award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has everything you need. 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout, 162nd and Maple.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos, a better, easier way to get term life insurance, all online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's cold outside, and you don't want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink Nebraska-brewed beer, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag OneBeerFriday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click nebraska.beer to learn more.
Email unsportsmanlike conduct on the Equitable Bank Zone Inbox with whatever is on your mind, from your hot takes to what you think is one. The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone Inbox.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
He's heating up. That's the country song, right? Remember when?
Thank you. Jacob Bigelow.
Yeah. Whenever my open is concocted, throw that in there.
He's on fire! Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, on the Connor Happer Show, on 1620 The Zone.
Boom shakalaka! I have a topic based off of what we just said there that might be potentially juicy for Jacob Bigelow. We may have talked about this a little bit before, but I have spent the majority of this basketball season telling people how good their teams are. I think they're good. I think we have a couple good local basketball teams. And then what will inevitably happen, Josh, is they will unexpectedly lose a game and the sky will be falling and they will say, Connor, you're such an idiot. Did you see them lose? And I will say, yes, sometimes they lose. Sometimes good teams lose. Sometimes good basketball teams lose. And that's where we hand it over to Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated, who joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Hello, Jacob.
Hello. I'm all in for juicy discussion. What you got for me?
Is it true that good teams sometimes lose basketball games and that maybe, there's a chance that even though you have done some things like uncharacteristically lose at points this year, you could still be good.
Contrary to what popular belief may say, that is in fact true. It is no coincidence that there has not been, an undefeated national champion since forget the year, but I know it's a Bob Knight Indiana team. I think it was in the late 70s, if I remember right. But it's no coincidence. There are in fact instances where good basketball teams lose games. It could be a result of bad shooting. It could just be a bad matchup. There's a lot of intangibles that go into basketball games, and that can lead to good teams losing sometimes.
And so what happens is when you get a bad matchup, it can end your season because we have this thing called the NCAA tournament, and the bad matchups are all over the place, all over the boards for good teams, and that's what makes it so much fun to watch. But there's a chance that, look at Purdue last year, Jacob. They were the number 1 seed. They lost in their very first game to a thing called Fairleigh Dickinson. It was amazing. That does not mean they were bad. Like, we're doing this whole thing with Purdue again, where nobody could trust them. Like, I don't know. I'm on some weird rant that I didn't think I was going to get on today, but this is basically what it's come to. We need the tournament to start.
We do. No, we definitely do. Just a few more sleeps until Selection Sunday. But yeah, the narratives, the regular season narratives have definitely the horse is not just dead. The horse has not just been beaten. It is Groundhog Day over and over again with some of these regular season narratives surrounding some certain programs. And yeah, we'll have the tournament. We'll have a bracket. We'll be talking first 4. We won't, but it'll be happening the next time I talk to you. So
it's true. Where were you for those 10 minutes when everyone thought that Porter Moser was going to leave Oklahoma and be the DePaul coach?
I was, just in the weeds,
just vibing,
like I usually am this time of year. It is Bigelow time. Asking some questions. It was actually legitimate or not, but that was an interesting stretch on Al Gore's internet yesterday, especially for the Big East burner community. It was a fun little stretch there.
It sure was. Oh man, I got into some weird corners, of like DePaul Twitter, and they were convinced that, and then it would have been amazing to get the rest of college basketball's reaction to a sitting coach at a school at one of the best conferences, if not the best conference in the country, taking the DePaul job, and we would have had to explain that away in some type of way. I would have loved the reaction. I'm sad we didn't get it, honestly.
Yeah, no, it would have been quite the you have to explain to people the allure of home and being from Chicago and being married to someone who's also from Chicago, and the fact that people from nobody loves Chicago more than people from Chicago. Would have been a lot of Chicago talk that had come to be, but alas, we still await who will be the new head man at DePaul.
You're right. Poll question, Josh. Put it up. Do people from Chicago love talking about how good Chicago is? Put that one up there. That's because that's absolutely true. That's like that's got to be like 85% yes, Jacob.
Yeah, we are approaching the phrase "summertime shy" being thrown out by Chicagoans. We're approaching that time of year. It's a whole. It's borderline cultish hearing people from Chicago talk about Chicago in the summer.
Speaking of Chicago, the Big Ten offices put out their Big Ten coaches and players of the year and all Big Ten teams today. All right, so are you okay with a co-coach of the year? It honestly makes a lot of sense to me. And the fact that we don't get any finality on this is pretty funny, but Matt Painter and Fred Hoiberg are both coaches of the year in the Big Ten.
I'm okay with it. I am far from triggered by it. It appears some people are indeed triggered by it, but I mean, there's two ways you can look at a Coach of the Year award: either the coach who most outperformed expectations, or the coach of the team that, for the most part, ran roughshod over your league. And in awarding the award to both, Fred and Matt Painter, the Big Ten acknowledged both. So I am more than okay with it.
Is there any I didn't feel like there was too many notable omissions for Nebraska. It's good to see Casey get recognized. I think Rick Mass certainly deserved it as well. They both show up on all conference teams. I don't know. I think people were trying to make a case for Jawan Gary. What do you think about Jawan Gary's case to be an all Big Ten caliber player? Before I let you answer, I guess I'll give you my side of it. I think there's a difference between being one of the most valuable players on your team and being recognized, particularly as an all-conference guy. There's a gap in there somewhere. So it doesn't minimize Jawan Gary's importance at all to Nebraska. He's still huge for them down the stretch, but he doesn't get recognized as an all Big Ten player.
Yeah, I think where most people were surprised with Jawan was the all-defensive team, him not being on in that group when that's kind of what he prides himself on. That was kind of the biggest surprise with Jawan. I mean, if I'm being honest, I was surprised Casey got as high as second team from the coaches, but when a guy is at the top of the scouting report when you're preparing for a team across the league, I'm sure that helped with that. But it was good to see him and Rank both get acknowledged by coaches and the media. The biggest surprise for me with Jawan would be the all defensive team. So
yeah, Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated, the Stretch Big Pod is with us. All right, what are we looking for this weekend in the conference tournament? It's obviously set up for Nebraska to win at least a game and advance to Saturday in the Big Ten tournament like they've never done before. What do you think? I guess where do you expect them to end? Which day do you expect them to end their run in the Big Ten tournament?
Saturday right now, just being, just looking at it. I mean, the path is certainly there. I mean, I think a rematch between Nebraska and Illinois would be a pretty entertaining watch. We saw that game in Champaign, all the points, and Casey going on a heater, and when them almost stealing that, Nebraska almost stealing that one on the road. I think a rematch of that matchup, there could be a lot of points, a lot of questionable shot selection too between the two teams. But I think it would be a pretty good way, pretty good game for the afternoon slate on CBS on Saturday if it came to be.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, is there a path to Nebraska winning a Big Ten tournament title?
It exists. Yeah, I mean, it exists. It's plausible. There's my AP English vocabulary for the day. It's plausible. They almost had Illinois. We saw what they did to Purdue. Assuming Purdue gets through the other side unscathed. They've beaten Indiana twice. I know it's hard to beat a team 3 times, but you probably like the matchup with Indiana. You like the matchup with Penn State or Michigan, obviously, with what you've done to Michigan twice and Penn State at home. I mean, it's plausible. It's there for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I want to hit a couple other teams before we let you go. What would you say has happened to Wisconsin over the last basically month now? Since basically that slide started after losing to Nebraska, and they were one of the top. They were number 6 in the country, I think, at the time. They don't even look close to that. They went from probably being on the 2, 3, 4 line area to playing back way closer to the bubble than they ever anticipated. What do you think has happened to them? Could you diagnose of what's going on with them?
I mean, as big of a cop-out as it is to say that shots just stop falling, I mean, that's kind of where it starts. I mean, I remember when they were making their run through the top 25, I mean, their offensive efficiency numbers were near the top in the country. They were getting out and running in transition with Chucky and Storr. They weren't running the bore you to sleep, swing, high, low, Bo Ryan, Wisconsin basketball all the time. And if you watch them now, I mean, it's slowed way down. There's not nearly as much crispness or flow to their offense. And I mean, it's very perplexing. I mean, do I think they were ever the sixth best team in the country? Probably not. But I mean, when they were humming at the start of the year, man, they looked really impressive. And it's tough to put my finger on, one thing that's gone wrong. But I mean, there's definitely a lot of questions to be asked with them.
And now Michigan State has lost 4 out of 5, and they've worked their way back to the bubble at this point. I mean, that's an 18-win team, and it is March, so you still have to deal with Izzo, and no doubt about it, they've proven that they could always be a threat in the NCAA tournament. And that's gonna help them here, but like they are bumping right up against it at this point, to where if they lost to Minnesota on Thursday at the Big Ten tournament, I mean, that would be quite the ominous feeling going into Selection Sunday for Michigan State.
Oh, and yeah, it definitely would. I mean, they're right up there for most disappointing, teams in the country. I mean, and that's a start to finish thing with their season. I mean, we're preseason top 5. They brought almost everybody back. They were picked second in the conference, and now with their backs against the wall, their reward in the conference tournament is playing the hometown team in the opening round in the conference tournament. And if they win that, they get to play the number 1 team in the country who's beaten them twice. Not in the country, in the conference, who's beaten them twice. So it's, kind of an uphill climb for them, I think. And, that's, definitely. I mean, once again, a lot of questions to be asked about this season for Sparty.
All right, Jacob. Appreciate it as always. You said it. Next Tuesday when we talk, there'll be the first 4 that evening. So I don't know. I'm excited to see who we see that night. Or I guess I'm not really particularly excited, but we know that all 4 of Creighton men's and women's and Nebraska men's and women's basketball teams are going to be in the tournament. So it's a good time for all. Thanks, Jacob.
No, absolutely. Thanks, Hap. Appreciate it.
It's Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated and the Stretch Big podcast. Good times. Good times for all ahead. We just got to find a way to get there somehow.
How will we survive with each other?
Oh, we'll have to watch the Summit League title game tonight.
Well, you've already told us Denver has no path to victory.
No, I said Denver has no path to win the national championship.
Anything can happen in March.
Not that. That cannot happen.
No, you're right.
That literally cannot happen. All right, we'll come back. More next on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Lindley Clothing in Omaha has been the premier provider of men's fashion for over 88 years, from suits to jeans, with great brands like Jack Victor, Bugatti, Peter Millar. Your father was a customer. You're a customer. Your son is a customer, and now they're looking for the latest sportswear to tailored clothing. Lindley Clothing has you covered. They will help you get the look that you need with their selection and top-notch customer service. You walk in the door, and there's John and Marlene and the entire Lindley Clothing team with a great smile on their face, and they're to help you. 132nd and West Dodge in Linden Market to pick up the latest styles and enjoy easy access shopping.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day. and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor, the pharmacy, or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
Marcus, what happened?
I was changing my oil and I spilled some on the floor.
Oh, we'll use these $50 bills to wipe it up.
Perfect. Got any more?
Yeah, take a couple hundred.
Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is available right at your fingertips in Iowa. The Circa Sports Iowa app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Iowa and experience high betting limits, tight money line splits, and exceptional customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Iowa. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
By the way, on Mr. Bigelow, he had a recent sit-down with Keisei Tominaga that I forgot to let him plug while he was on the show because I am an idiot.
Wow.
And so look for that coming out soon.
Do we have a clip? No? Okay. Just on the talk shows, they're always like, and do we have a clip?
Oh, yeah, they do that on the talk shows. Do we have the... Play the clip. Yeah, no, he doesn't have a movie coming out. It's just a story with Keisei Tominaga.
Keisei Tominaga could be a movie star if he saw the value in it.
There might be a Keisei Tominaga movie at some point. I wouldn't doubt it. All right, a couple things here. First of all, an email from Ben.
Hi, Ben.
From Ben in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Whoa. Hi, Ben in Oshkosh.
Or as the Wisconsinites say it, Oshkosh.
Oshkosh.
Yeah. Hi, Connor. Catching up with you on the podcast today. Also in the Mall of America, underneath one of the roller coasters is a marker where one of the home plate of the old ballpark where the Twins played was, Metropolitan Stadium. This is the outdoor stadium before the Metrodome. The Beatles played there as part of their tour in the 60s, Ben in Oshkosh. That's right. And then they have the seat on the wall. If you take the log ride, I love the log ride, Josh.
Oh, okay.
At the Mall of America. I cannot recommend the log ride enough. Great ride. It's got water. You can see the big blue guy in there. He's great. Anyway, there's a big seat on the wall over by the Bubba Gump Shrimp. That's where they hit some significant home run. I don't know. But yeah, it's an old baseball stadium. Thanks for following up with that, Ben from Oshkosh. I appreciate that.
It also housed the first ever episode of WCW Monday Nitro in 1995.
How about that? People are... I thought people would take this whole Fred Hoiberg Coach of the Year thing normally.
No.
Was I wrong? I seem to have been very wrong.
Yes. These fans are not rational. Oh, the Big Ten hates Nebraska.
Like, we have to understand this.
Nebraska can't have anything.
This is a totally subjective award. There's no metrics.
Not according to them.
There's no things that make you have to decide what the exact premise of the award even is. We were just talking about it. Like, what do you prefer in your coach of the year? Do you want him to be like historically the best coach in the league? You should give it to Izzo every year. Is he probably the best coach in the league every year? Sure. Matt Painter's approaching that territory. What he has done with that program has been incredible. It hasn't always been like that. And, to bring him back from losing as a 1 seed against a 16 last year, like, yes, it's impressive. Or you have your options of the coaches who were picked toward the bottom of the league, like Collins and Johnson and Hoiberg. It's very subjective, Josh. And so Like it's a matter of who you're gonna give it to based on the circumstances you have at your fingertips. And I think it's very reasonable to vote for Matt Painter.
It's like the question we always ask when the MVP conversation comes up. Or define valuable. It usually ends up being the best player on the best team.
Yeah.
But could you make the case for, wow, that team was supposed to be really stinky, and because of that guy, they're not stinky.
Yeah.
In fact, they're quite good.
NFL Comeback Player of the Year. Do you want the guy who died and came back to life and played one game? Or do you want the guy who was sitting on his couch and led the Browns to the playoffs?
Bills went to the playoffs too, by the way.
What do you mean?
You're like, oh, Joe Flacco took the Browns to the playoffs. You know, DeMar Hamlin took the Bills to the playoffs.
Oh, sorry. I was like, wait, what? I don't think Josh Allen was up for Comeback Player of the Year or anything like that.
He should be.
Okay. Now I get it. Pretty reasonable to vote for both guys, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. So, yeah, I mean, I just don't, I don't like if you're asking me if Fred, which is the thing that people have been asking me over the last couple of days, do you think Fred Hoiberg deserves to be Coach of the Year? Yes.
Yes.
He was named Coach of the Year today. Just take the win, baby. He's the Coach of the Year. Also, we could be asking the grander question, does this matter?
Oh, not a lick.
No.
But this goes in that bucket of things we have talked about all season when it comes to Nebraska basketball. What do their fans constantly scream without saying the words? Tell me I'm good. Tell me we're good. That's another thing. Like Fred Hoiberg, solo Coach of the Year. Okay, I'm validated. Nebraska is a good team. And now you're
only half validated?
Yes.
Because you have to share it with somebody?
Uh-huh. Nobody likes sharing their toys.
Does he even get like a trophy? Do they even give him a trophy?
There has to be a trophy.
Some sort of
involved with
hardware,
this, right?
I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Anyway,
you don't know this, but you know ball.
I do not know this kind of ball. Aaron writes in.
Hi, Aaron.
On the Equitable Bank inbox. I could see why people wouldn't vote for him. You could say he should be Coach of the Year because he exceeded expectations, but who put them in the situation where being awful was expected?
That recruiter guy who's not here anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely. But for real though, it is his fault. Like Fred went along with it. Shame on Fred, but that is bad. That's super Matt Abdelmassih. Like, I know we do the thing where like, oh man, I don't want to really like jump on his grave or anything like that. I don't want to stomp on his grave. In this case, it's totally cool. Guys suck.
Dance away.
Guys suck. Total scum. It's all right. We could do that. And so Fred made the right choice. All right. We'll come back. Still a couple more things to hit before we get out of here on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But first, FanDuel has put the ball in your court for the rest of the NBA season. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any $5 winning bet. $200 if your bet wins. So while you're at it, head over to the FanDuel Sportsbook. You can find quick bets, live same game parlays, live bets in general, player props, as they're so huge in the NBA. Just bet Nikola Jokic overs on everything. That should work out for you actually pretty well. Plenty more options there for you too. Head to FanDuel.com/Happer and make your first bet a layup. Once again, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 and over, present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
The Connor Happer Show. Follow us on Twitter @Happer Show for all the latest news and views. We may even say something interesting once in a while.
Unlikely.
Really, guys? Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
Women's college basketball audience on Fox is larger than the men's. Wow. Because of her. Because of her. Women's basketball is up 48% on Fox, 60% across all national networks. They say the viewership peaked at 4.4 million viewers.
If that was a men's game, those are extraordinary regular season basketball numbers.
But people love their Caitlin Clark.
Unsportsmanlike conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
A warm and calm Tuesday evening with temperatures rising up near 70 degrees, but we have a few clouds with us. Those clouds will also be with us tomorrow as our high temperature gets up near 72 degrees, but we do have a chance of storms tomorrow evening. I'm meteorologist Luke Vickery, KETV Newswatch 7.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Hi, this is Stacey McElligott, Director of Sales for NRG Media Omaha. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished bilingual new business development salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to the next level. Is this you? Our multimedia account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on site, audio, video, it's all part of what you could sell. A sales career with NRG Media lets you make a real difference in our community. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
If you're unhappy with your job or employer and you've hit a dead end, it's time to start your new career as a delivery driver with Host Coffee. Our local family-owned business is growing, and we now have openings for delivery drivers and other positions starting at $22 an hour with full benefits. If you're interested, visit hostcoffee.net/careers to connect with us.
Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
For our 6th year in a row, Burton AC Plumbing and More is partnering with Food Bank for the Heartland. Right now, if you donate 5 cans of food, you can get an air conditioner safety inspection and cleaning for $55. In other words, as you turn on the AC and turn in 5 cans of food, you will help support our community by feeding families in need. Stay cool and comfortable in your home by keeping your AC running efficiently all spring and summer long, while also helping others in need. All donations go to benefit Food Bank for the Heartland. Call 402-934-7003 or visit justcallburton.com.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Hey, so there was a rumor going around that we were supposed to get a sampling of the new food items that they'll be selling at the CHA Health Center during the NCAA tournament in 2 weeks.
Whoa.
And all I've received is a picture.
I can't eat a picture.
I mean, it looks great. I'll say that. It looks great, but I can't eat this. I can only look at it. Looks like some
what
garlicky chicken. There's a big pile of garlicky Parmesan popcorn, I believe it says. That looks good. There's some fries with like some Thai sauce on it.
Oh, hello.
There's like a big old burger, got some bacon on it, big old cup full of Diet Coke, big old popcorn, big old chicken wings, big old onion ring, maybe big old taco, big old salad.
Okay.
Now,
I would try
they don't
any
have
of those things you just listed.
Wait, it is on its way, apparently. It is on its way.
But I'm here now.
Our show is ending in like 12 minutes.
I want to be crystal clear about this. Whenever that food gets here, I will barge into this room. I don't care what you're doing on the crossover. I don't care what's happening on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. The Grum Down, you might see me in the background trying to get a nosh.
Well, here's the good news. When Chris gets here with the food, he will also barge in.
That's right.
Room,
That's what he does.
Yeah, so
we love him for it.
We're on Chris's time at the moment.
He's like Morgan Freeman in Shawshank. He knows how to get things.
Chris Vanini, not that
different
different Chris. He had this nugget of reporting for us yesterday regarding everybody's favorite topic. The new college football EA Sports video game.
I'm sick of this game.
Josh is sick of
I'm
it.
so sick of this
Josh is mad about all the reporting and all the excitement.
There shouldn't
that
be
people are getting
reporting
for this.
on it. Just do the game.
They are doing the game. They have to tell people about the game that they're doing.
Did you know that if you press start, you'll be able to pause the game? Oh,
what a feature!
Let's aggregate this on every news site available.
It's time to make a TikTok. Josh, get the TikTok camera fired up.
My God, people. Go on.
So this is in response to the Cotton Bowl tweeting out yesterday that they were in the game. Hashtag in the game.
What's the Cotton Bowl tweeting things?
The Cotton Bowl's in the game. In fact, according to Chris Vanini, all of the bowl games will be in the game.
Is the Pop-Tart gonna kill himself
that's gonna be the question.
I purposely went 8-4 with NC State in my first year of my dynasty so I could see if the Pop-Tart dives head first into the toaster.
And dies.
That's you. That's what you sound like in your mom's basement. My goodness.
Hey, I play video games in my own basement. My mom kicked me out years ago. I play video games in my own basement. I'm kind of excited to play in the Pop-Tart Bowl with 8-5 NC State, Josh. That sounds kind of sick, actually. I wonder if you could like hold B or like there's a special combination of buttons where you can hit where you can make the Pop-Tart cook itself.
And now here's a cut.
Oh my God, they're dumping French fries on me.
Here's a cut scene of Mac Brown getting doused in mayonnaise at the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Doesn't that sound fun?
I like it when it happens in real life.
Josh, you're going to be triggered for a while then. You're going to be triggered until July.
I love that this game exists. I love that it's coming out. I love that you are all happy.
You got 4 months.
I want to clarify my position. I don't need a fresh update every single day about a feature that I had already assumed is in the game.
Herb Street is in the game.
I assumed that when they announced it. I assumed every bowl game was a part of this. I assumed every Tom, Dick, and Harry not named Arch Manning would say yes to $600 and a free copy of the game.
Yeah.
I assumed every team was available.
So you're going to wait until you get some piece of news of something that's in the game that you didn't assume was in the game?
Yes.
And the Pop-Tart isn't included in that category?
Okay, I do want to know if the Pop-Tart does anything.
What if the Pop-Tart tweets out, I'm in the game, I'm a Pop-Tart? Then will you be excited?
I would like the graphic on Twitter.
Chris asks on the text line.
Hi, Chris.
Not that Chris or the other Chris. Wow. Does Josh realize that there is reporting on most every game? It's just treated like any movie or TV show. Weird thing to get mad about. Sincerely, Chris.
I understand it's a weird thing to get mad about. But it's every day with this game.
All right, Josh, don't worry. You get happy because we're about to get a big old pile of food here in a couple minutes. You'll be here.
Maybe that's it.
You can take the big old bucket of popcorn.
My blood sugar's off.
We got to get ready for the NCAA tournament. The NCAA tournament is coming to Omaha.
That's right.
So get your drinks in your big Powerade cups. Get your French fries ready. We're going to be loaded up. Have you been downtown recently? I've been downtown a lot in the last week. Let me tell you this. They got signs. They got, road to whatever signs, Final Four signs. The signage is up.
Oh.
Omaha is draped in NCAA right now.
Would you say Omaha is of NCAA right
Pretty
now?
much.
Okay.
Pretty much. Going to read a couple comments there.
Oh, I just flashed them up on the screen while you were talking. Kenneth said Josh is just mad Iowa Western isn't in the game.
That's true.
Travis, the Pop-Tart Bowl mascot didn't sacrifice himself for this piss-poor attitude of yours, Josh.
Also, Josh, do we have any Iowa Western news to tease?
Not yet.
Okay. Let's hold on to it then. We'll come back, pull questions. Like with the watch on 1620 The Zone.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Looking for a sweet treat that will transport you back into time? Look no further than Ted and Wally's. With 2 convenient locations in Benson and the Old Market, it's the perfect place to satisfy your cravings. Whether you're downtown or in Benson, make sure to stop in. And if you're catching a basketball game, why not indulge in a delicious dessert afterwards? With over 3,000 flavors to choose from, there's something for everyone. Don't forget to check out our social media for daily flavors. Ted and Wally's, serving up nostalgia at its finest for over 35 years. Visit tedandwallys.com for more information. Where to watch college basketball just got easier. 72 Table and Tap is offering $2 Coors drafts with a purchase of a Coors Cup. Paired with one of the biggest TVs in Ralston is a slam dunk. 72 Table and Tap is just south of Ralston Arena, so stop in before the concert or come watch the tournament. Indulge in some smoked wings, a goldfish breaded pork tenderloin, tasty bar food, pizzas, and sandwiches. There's a reason customers keep coming back. 72 Table and Tap. Eat, drink, gather, and repeat.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
FanDuel's putting the ball in your court for the rest of the NBA season because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200 if your bet wins. Bet on the NBA with a wide range of bet types, including quick bets, live same-game parlays, player props, and so much more. Visit FanDuel.com, use the promo code ZONE. That's FanDuel.com/zone and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expires 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
All right, breaking news. We're going to have a really fun crossover.
This just in
a couple minutes, yeah. Because the food is here.
I can smell it. Someone took the lid off of a...
Before we know it, it'll be gone because people will have eaten it.
Mm-hmm.
So stay tuned for that here in just a couple minutes.
You don't think there's people in here working hard or you think they would get easily distracted and find free food in the building?
Do not tell anybody that you're here with this food. Nobody outside this room. No. Nobody outside this room. All right. At Happer Show, poll questions. Let's get to these before all of our food gets eaten. Is Weston, Missouri a cool little town?
Apparently spelled Weston, Missouri wrong.
Yeah. You spelled it like the hotel.
I think. Well, that's what I'm familiar with.
No, I don't think so. But some people do, and that's cool. That's cool. I'm going to say no. 63% agree. No.
Okay.
Oh, wait. There was 2 poll questions about Weston, Missouri. In the second one, which was also spelled incorrectly.
It's the same poll question twice. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. I'm not deleting it. They have different numbers of votes, and the results are different as well.
54% said no the second time. Once again, still spelled wrong.
Amazing.
Do you like a good cave?
No.
I'm going to vote yes, actually. 72% say yes. Breakfast quesadillas, yes or no?
Once again, Allan was just dead on with this. It's an upgrade of an omelet. Yeah.
78% say yes. And finally, do people from Chicago love talking about how good Chicago is?
God, yes.
Yes, they do. A great point made by our good friend Jacob Bigelow. We are trending at a big number here. 96% currently saying yes.
I like Chicago, and I'm like, okay, we get it, Chicago. You're great.
Those are the poll questions. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
NBA doubleheader on TNT. Sixers, Knicks at the Garden. Got to tell the Knicks, okay, turn the lights out when you're done because you don't live here anymore, New York Knicks. Get out. What? They don't. John Bishop's coming in. And then the nightcap, 9 o'clock tip on TNT, Wolves and the Clippers. That's the 3-4 matchup right now in the Western Conference. Connor, we are punching 5 tickets to the big dance tonight, the Horizon League. Number 1, Oakland. They'll be waxing nipples in the stands as they take on the 6th seed Milwaukee at 6 o'clock on ESPN. Same time on ESPN2, it's the Northeast title game between number 2 Merrimack and number 6 Wagner. Coastal up for grabs tonight, also at 6 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. Number 1 Charleston. They're a little bit of a darling. They've got some good metrics around them against number 7 seeded Connor's guys from Stony Brook.
Long Island, stand up. It's my guys, Long Island.
And then
the Seawolves.
Right after that at 8 o'clock on CBS Sports Network, the Summit League title. South Dakota State against some Pioneers from Denver.
Not going to win the national championship.
That's right. And then the West Coast title is on the line at ESPN, 8 o'clock. Number 1 Gonzaga, number 2 St. Mary's. The ACC tournament is on right now. It's underway in Washington, D.C. Missed when it was in Greensboro. Baseball, Nebraska against Wichita State, 6 o'clock on ESPN+. Number 7, Wake Forest against number 16, Coastal Carolina. Good matchup there. 5 o'clock on ESPN+. And Connor, it is the Season 2 premiere at 9 o'clock on NBC of the game show Password. Jimmy Fallon and Deal or No Deal Island's Joe Manganiello pair up with contestants for a chance to win $25,000.
Wow.
Big night of TV.
Also, Real Radio, too. Can I give myself a shout out?
Please. I was hoping you would.
Creighton in Omaha tonight for some baseball. That'll be on 1620 The Zone right after Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
No pregame.
I will bookend Unsportsmanlike Conduct today.
As you should every day.
I disagree. All right. That is it for us today. Stay tuned for the crossover because we have some things to tell you about regarding the tournament here coming up in just a little over a week. That's it for us today. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Crossover's next.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
You can find pizza anywhere. But when you want pizza pie piled high with more toppings, that's when you come to my place, Godfather's Pizza. For a limited time, get your hands on 2 of my large one-topping pizzas. Pick pepperoni, beef, black olives, you choose. All this food for only $30. Feed your whole mob without breaking the bank. Hey, it's an offer you can't refuse. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
To thank you for 40 unforgettable years, Dell Technologies is celebrating with anniversary savings on their most popular tech. For a limited time only, save on select next-gen PCs like the XPS 13 Plus, powered by Intel Core processors and more. Plus, curate your dream setup with great deals on select monitors, mice, and more must-have electronics and accessories. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to leading-edge technology and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, We take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Woodhouse GMC is bringing you more for the new year. With every new GMC purchase from Woodhouse, we're including 3 years of scheduled maintenance. Plus, with our current lease offers going on now, you'll save even more. Lease a 2024 GMC Terrain SLE for $389 a month for 39 months, 10,000 miles per year. Woodhouse